Good, man. I'm gonna get us started here. Here we go.
Excellent.
Hey, welcome to another episode of the Blackout Tips podcast. I'm your host, Rod, joined as always by my co-host,
Karen.
And we are live this early Sunday morning, ready to talk to the man, the myth, the legend, comedian, actor of stage and his own sketches. And also you might catch him in popular TV shows that come on paid cable. You also might listen to his podcast, Rain on Your Parade, making podcasts great again. It's my man J-L Cauvin. What's going on, dude?
Nothing much. I can tell you if any of my non-Black Guy Who Tips fans happen to listen to this, they're going, I wonder who the guest is.
That guy sounds accomplished.
That sounds like a lot of stuff that I've never seen, heard. Yeah, I wonder who the guest. Oh, JL.
JL does stand up.
I thought he just did 4 videos on Twitter that I saw 2 years ago. So cool.
How you been, man?
Doing all right. It's I'm sure in the South it can't be too much cooler, but it's disgusting up here. It's like 95 and humid, and I got Cookie and Cookie's dog cousin here, and her dog cousin. I got a dog sit this weekend. She's just standing by the door. She hasn't moved from the door since she came in, so she's not too happy to be here.
That's that a sign of I want to go outside, or just I want to escape the depression?
Oh no, she's like, where's my? I thought my owner was coming in with us, kind of thing. And
I didn't realize I was going to be left alone. What is this?
Betrayed.
So, yeah, Cookie is thrilled because Cookie's like, oh, my dog friend. But she doesn't want to play. So Cookie just keeps walking around her whimpering like, why? Happy.
Oh, man. And also, like, you got stuff coming up here. I know you got some shows for people to come out to, and just telling y'all again, I say it every time he's on, but I'll just be a broken record about it. If you can go see J-L Cauvin in person, you need to get up and go see him.
It is a ball.
He was killing us, had me cracking up, and that was like years ago in Raleigh, Durham area. And
that was close to like 10 years ago or something.
Crazy, right?
Isn't that's insane? Like, yeah. I feel bad, and I'm working on a new bit just about getting older, but I was like, my uncle and my mom got the internet when they were 50 and 54 years old.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I'm not even that old yet. Because when I get frustrated with my mom with some, she's very nervous with technology, even though she's been using it for a quarter of a century. Like, it makes her very nervous. And I get it, but especially as she gets older. But I'm like, imagine 5 years from now. Something, and I'm not even talking AI, because AI is like computer driven, at least.
Right.
Imagine the world invents a technology that we have no idea what it is, how to use it, and it becomes everything.
Yeah.
Like, we can't even fathom like that, because we're just like, I'm using a computer, I'm using a smartphone, and all of a sudden they're like, no, actually, it's right. You can't even envision it, and it's like, and you're gonna have to learn it. And it's going to have to become every part of your life, 50-year-old or 55-year-old.
It's like if Elon Musk's brain chip thing does take off. Because that's as distant from like how my dad feels about technology is how I would feel about that. Like, it wouldn't matter if everyone on the planet was like, listen, you get the brain chip. That way we can track each other. Yeah. We don't have to call each other. You can text with your brain.
I'd be like, fuck it, call me on the phone. They'd be like, what is wrong with you? I was like, you ain't doing shit to me.
Every time I pull out like an iPhone, they're like, you using a fucking app? You're embarrassing us. Come on, Unc, man. Put the fucking app, put the phone down, and use the brain chip like the rest of us.
And then you're like, okay, I'm thinking. No, you don't think like that. Jesus. No, okay, I'm sorry. I know it's new, but oh my God, how many times do I have to tell you, you think like this, not like that?
That is so cringe.
Yes. It's 3 taps to hang up, Dad. I'm like, fuck.
But yeah, like I was gonna say, man, check him out in person. Someone in the chat already said they got their tickets for DC.
Yeah,
exactly.
This is gonna be worth it.
Like,
no, this is OJ coming to the black church asking for help. Because it's just it has become a cliche now. But I think after a couple of years of the Fairweather fans, like, I love your stuff, they loved the heat. I have to come back. You, Pete, Dominic, the people who loved me when I was ice cold, because those are the ones. That's podcast family. This is, and it's it's always been, there's always been that steady support from your audience. But it's like the other folks, it's like no matter what you put out, it's if you get heat from sort of social media or trending, it's fickle, and you try to put out as much good stuff. And I think it's frustrating when you're like, I did put out two really good specials, and I did this and that, and you hope that's, but it's like there's mediocrities with heat that people just, they like that, like like moths to a flame, kind of literally. They like to be near whoever's got the heat, and it's like, or I'm a good comedian, and like this is my third trip to DC in 3.5 years, and it'll be my third new hour of stuff.
Right.
So it's for anybody out there who's on the fence or whatever. It'll be good stuff.
Yeah. So where they got to go to get tickets, and what days?
Oh, sure. It's Friday and Saturday, the 28th and 29th of June at the DC Comedy Loft. After 20 years of starting at the DC Improv, you learn the limits of not having a manager when you do well. When you do well, not to burn a bridge with a club that I've worked for 20 years, but it's one of those things when you get told that certain weekends are held for like agencies, and you're like, oh, so I guess like selling well didn't matter if you have to please. And I get the business part of it, but it's like, okay, I mean, I literally started here in 2004, and I sold well in my weekend in the lounge, and you're like, can I get? And they're like, no, those are reserved for such and such and such and such. And I'm like, yeah, and I get it. That's why having an agent, I'm going down the righteous prick old school. I need Mike here to stop me ASAP. No, but it's just one of those things where you realize like,
but doesn't Joe Biden suck? Doesn't Joe Biden suck?
Yeah, that's true. Okay. True. Thank you for steering me back to the truth. But it's just, it's with no agent, you're just, you need your fans to either be overwhelming or you're screwed, kind of. So if your fans like show up decently, it's like that's not enough to put you over the top of somebody whose relationship they care about. Like if Bill Burr's agent has 2 new clients he wants getting work, they're getting work.
And if you're not fully employed as a comedian full time, then it's hard to move shit around like that. So like, like if every weekend is taken, well, that's the time I have to travel to come do the show, as opposed to like, well, I guess I'll take a Wednesday and try to promote that shit. Cause like now would I take the day off before, the day off after? I mean, that's been my last few years.
So, but it's the DC Comedy Loft. Very happy that they booked me, and I've performed there before. But this will be it's 2 shows Friday, 2 shows Saturday. So it's downtown DC also. So yeah, I'm very very happy, and I love performing in DC. DC and Philly are kind of my 2 favorite cities to perform in. So get tickets. New hour. I'll do some impressions, but it's a lot of good new material. So. It's one of those things where I keep going, yeah, I really do want to quit. But then I feel like I'm abandoning that like fresh hour that I've come up with in the last year and a half. And I'm like, well, I want that to find a home. I don't want that to be like floating in space forever.
Your brain hasn't quit, like that's the thing. Like it's it's like if I said, oh, I'm gonna quit podcasting or whatever, my brain will still be in podcast forever. Like, oh, this topic. Oh, no one's thinking about this angle. Oh, I bet this is funny. And then I'll just be some guy in a coffee shop mumbling to themselves, and people be like, "What the fuck that guy's problem?" Because
why does he have a mic in front of him with nothing attached to it, just talking into it?
He keeps going on about Game of Thrones characters. I don't know what the fuck this guy's
podcast stress man. And I mean, just to piggyback on the recap episode this week. Obviously, very good to have House of the Dragon recaps back. That's why, and I was laughing when people are like, I tried someone else's and they were trying to be smart, and I said no, thank you. I was like, oh, good, they're not talking about mine because I'm definitely not trying to be smart. But I always do mine. Like, I was inspired, obviously, by your Game of Thrones recaps, and I just said, I say it almost every one. I go, getting this out quick because I don't want. I've been inspired by Rod, but I don't want to have it leak in.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Like it's it's an integrity thing, to be honest. Like, I'm the same way. Like, Kev on Stage is doing one like right after you're doing one. Of course, there's 4 Hour Nerds who actually get the episode like a week ahead of time, and they do theirs at they're doing theirs right now to put out later tonight, and like that's cool and that's dope. But I have to be careful of what I listen to because like shit seeps in. Next thing you know, you're making a joke, and it's like, fuck, is that my joke? Did I take that? Am I not giving credit where it's due?
Right.
Or some kind of weird way or whatever. And I don't disparage other people's shows. I don't tell people not to listen.
Right.
So like, now it does feel good when someone says our show is great or it's better than.
Oh yeah. It's the measuring. Like, I'm not trying, I'm just doing my own bitter, miserable version, but I'm mindful of the bar you've set. Because it's like, if I don't do something at least entertaining, I'm like, well, why don't I just put the link to Rod and Karen here instead? Like, so I at least want to be entertained. But I remember when you guys were doing it, and you said you were talking about the Stark guy on the wall saying, like, we built it for death.
Yeah.
And I was already in the mode of listening to you guys, and I thought of like Cat Williams, just going, this shit right here, this shit right here, this shit death.
It is. And it's man, that scene, by the way, like, and we'll probably never even fucking revisit those people forever. Like, they're so far removed from the conflict, but that's what makes Game of Thrones so good, is like even having a scene that's just cool as fuck for like a 10-minute cold open.
The wall was like, oh, I remember the wall.
Yeah, because like that literally does not pay off for like 200 years in this timeline. Like, like none of that.
My comedy career claims House Stark. I'm like,
watch out the wall.
My great grandkids will like have the royalties, and it'll be like, we discovered this great insightful comedian from 180 years ago.
And they're gonna make millions of dollars off of you, JL.
My t-shirt should say "Success is coming."
Someone Photoshop J-L Cauvin like how Louis C.K. is, where he's touching the wall and doing stand-up, but it's the wall, like it's the 700. But yeah, man, it's I'm glad it's back, man. I'm looking forward to tonight's show, obviously, and getting to work on our shit for Wednesday.
One other thing, and then because obviously this isn't a Game of Thrones, but it was funny. The New York Times writer, when he was reviewing the first, like, they got 4 episodes, like,
okay.
So they don't do spoilers or anything, but just so they can give like a rough review. And the guy was like kind of down on the season, but he was cool enough, I thought, or had enough perspective to go, but to be fair, and he ended with like 4 quotes of his from Game of Thrones, like season 1, season 4, and he was down on the show the whole time. So he's like, it may not be for me, but here, like, so then it got me excited because I was like, oh, he's never really liked it. So like, that doesn't mean this season is bad, because he was like, season 1, what's happening? There's all this talk. This is like,
and I appreciate people that can do that, by the way, because like
a lot of people can.
So many people review things, and then you, the fucking reader, have to pick up over time. Like, oh, this motherfucker hates action movies,
right?
And no wonder he thinks John Wick 4 is 3 thumbs down.
Yeah, like, why are you covering this?
Like, what the fuck? You thought the first one was 3 thumbs down? I wish I knew that when we started. But yeah, make sure y'all go check out J-L Cauvin. J-L Comedy, is that where they get the tickets?
Yeah, like it's on my website, jlcauvin.com. You go to the calendar, and then that has the ticket link and the page. The homepage, of course, has Half Blackface and Tall Boy, both free, YouTube and Amazon Prime. But a lot of nice response, obviously, from your fans as well. I think more of my fans find it like humorous or quaint, that I'm like, hey, comedian here that you like, could you watch my very big special? You know, it's once again, if it was on Netflix, no one would stop watching it because they'd want to like kind of be but it's like, it's on Amazon Prime. That ain't bad either. But
yeah, that cosign is a monster these days, man. And then of course the podcast, Rain on Your Parade has been on fire. I've really enjoyed it.
Thank you. We're talking Christian nationalism this week.
Oh,
like the next episode, because I have one of the producers of this documentary called God and Country, which if you go to my calendar page also, you'll see something for that also. But it's this a really great documentary. And this is a guy I worked with over the pandemic, like in 2020. And he told me he was like trying to produce. He was having a lot of trouble. Like he had optioned this book called The Power Worshippers, which was about the right-wing Christian nationalism folks. And he finally got the documentary made, and it's great. It's really in 90 minutes. So it's that good length that people like. Also, you get like January 6th, and then the history of like evangelicals, the history of like Christian nationalism, how it came to be in America, how it linked with politics, and back to January 6th. And it's really great, like informative and entertaining. Like but it's also scary. A lot of William Barber, he's quoted a lot, and it's so funny. You hear him speaking, and it's like you're so brainwashed by the culture now, where it's like, man, he is a far left pastor. Oh wait, he's just like quoting Jesus.
Yep.
That's all. He's not doing something additional. He's quoting Jesus, and you're like, man, this guy, I don't like the far, but this guy is kind of left. And it's like, oh no, he's what it should be.
That's why I always say that, like, I don't bag on just the idea of Christianity as a whole, just because of the fact that I've seen too many people in my life and in the world who have a religious dogma, but it looks like William Barber's dogma, and it motivates them to do things like he does, like stand up for poor people and stand up for the oppressed. And so if that's what's giving you the moral rubric or whatever, like that's giving you the fabric to be like, I'm gonna be out here fighting for then that's your Jesus, that's your Jesus. But I always say people's Jesus is as liberal as they are. Like if they just don't like something about gay people, all of a sudden Jesus and God don't like something about gay people. If they don't like immigrants, somehow Jesus gets into that. They don't want like they don't want interracial marriage. Somehow Jesus knew.
That's what's so funny about all this, and why I'm telling people. I will say I have if you go to my website, if you watch it at a certain time, Rain on Your Parade gets a little money, full disclosure.
Okay.
But it's like one of the, I actually wrote in my notes for the interview with one of the producers, like bars next to, because one guy just said, this isn't about Christian values, it's about Christian power. Yes. And I was like, and there's like funny quotes in it where you have a guy, like some of these people were like real right wingers, but they were, yes, they might've been like a crueler strain, but I think they were true believers, and they really, abortion wasn't just a wedge issue for them, whether you agree or not. It wasn't like playing politics, certain things like that. But like you see some of these big wigs come into like the realization of like, oh, this has nothing to do. This is like purely political. And it's also, and they don't shy away from the racism involved. Like it's a really comprehensive, tight. So recommend it to everybody.
On the other side of that too, for the politicians, it's not really about political freedom. It's not about religious freedom at all, or religious right to do this, that, or other, because they only want it to be the Christian right. Like it's never right. They're never like, well, also the right for Muslims to put the 5 pillars of Islam in the courthouse, right, in the classroom. We need to let everybody put their religion in the classroom. No, they just mean the 10 Commandments in Louisiana or whatever. And I think the amount of like plausible deniability or whatever that's inherent in like throwing religion in something is how they try to slide the power by everybody as if they're the oppressed group, as if we're somehow impeding on their rights. And the rights they're talking about is like, I want to work in a public business and not serve gay people or black people or whatever. And it's like, well, you can't do that. My religion says I can. It's like, no, you fucking can't do that. So yeah,
no, there was an article in the New York Times like a year ago, less than a year ago, where they had sort of analyzed the sort of current Supreme Court over the last like the very pro sort of religious liberty Supreme Court. And they had said Christians, like documented like sort of statistics, Christians had gained immensely under this court, like freedom. So it was like, oh, religion, and maybe there were a couple of other cases, but they were like, but one religion is actually doing slightly worse than before this pro-religious freedom court, and it was Islam.
Of course.
Like in other, and that's so unbelievably telling, because if it was, hey, we just believe in a robust religious freedom and individual choice in this country, it would be every religion at least that could point to some consistency. But it's like, it just so happens that when you want your imam, or when it involves your practice, dietary or dress or culture, in those cases, it's actually very important that we have a standard uniform, or we do a certain thing, or we have certain days off, or whatever the case may be. And I thought it was just very, pathetic, but also scary.
Yeah, it's never like a Muslim coach who's like, I want to pray before the games, and they're like, God damn it, he's got the right. I don't agree with it, but we are gonna push this to the Supreme Court, and he's gonna. Everyone's like, no, man, stand up, get off the mat, and you get out there, and you can fucking coach the kids. Like if Robert Saleh, the coach of the Jets, was out there like doing that, I got a feeling that is not going to go over as well as the kicker.
Muslim controlling Jets in New York has never turned out well, brother. No.
Right. Yes. The kicker for the Chiefs is doing speeches about it and shit.
Yes. They can talk about Sharia law and how they treat their women, but yet we pass fucked up laws here, and we treat our women like shit.
Right. Oh, no,
man. These are Christian terrorists. Some of these groups are just nothing more than Christian terrorist groups, but because we give that extra latitude to Christianity, well, it's conservative, it's cultural. It's no. These are terrorist groups operating under as some might say when defending Islam, it's like a bastardization or a whatever the word is for like, when they misapply and turn it violent, they say that for that, but for Christians, it's like, well, no, it's conservative and they want their country back.
Right. I got a bunch of stuff I want to talk with you about.
Yes, sir.
But I gotta play music so we know where to put commercials later. And also, Karen, the official weapon of the show is
phone chair,
and the unofficial sport.
What about you?
Bullet ball extreme. Now let's play some music.
Psycho
music.
Damn, the horns kicked in right on time. All right. Netflix has unveiled a new popcorn line exclusively at Walmart.
Like popcorn?
Like popcorn for you when you're at home, not going to actual movies, to eat at home.
This is gonna be a hard market to break into, because when it comes to that popcorn, people already have like they staple of what they like.
Skinny pop. This is a skinny pop household.
That's what we do over here.
It's so good.
People, and it's good for you.
Yeah, microwave or either home old school with the popper people. So it's like you're trying
even
to.
Even when I eat 12 servings, it's still good for me.
Yes, oversaturated market.
But not oversaturated with butter. Now this is interesting right here because it's pre-popped. It doesn't look like you like put it in something. It looks like it's just like
Pre-pop? What you do? How
You
do you
know,
heat it up?
you never had a bag of popcorn?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's not like fresh and hot. It's just gonna be some cold ass popcorn.
Yeah, it looks like cold popcorn.
No, thank you.
They got Coke Classic Cheddar Kettle and Swoon-worthy Cinnamon Kettle family size bags for this.
I have a question.
Which means JL size.
Yeah.
My question is, how do you guys feel? I am a regular popcorn person. I don't like
Same.
all the different flavors and stuff. I like popcorn flavor popcorn.
I tried them all too. I'm not saying they're nasty or like if I saw I'd like throw it in the trash or no shit. But like when I go to buy the popcorn and I see that kettle shit or whatever, I'm like, nah. the sweet ones, I'm good. If I'm gonna change up my popcorn, I do it myself. You know, like I sprinkle a little garlic on it or something. But I don't need you to do the shit. I got it figured out over here. The popcorn don't really need to be fucked with. It was great the way it was.
It's great the way it was invented.
Yeah. Now the thing that's interesting to me, it's $4.49 a bag. It's 8 ounces bags or whatever. But what I think is the same feeling I got when I watched the NBA Finals, and the commercial would be like, "The NBA Finals brought to you by YouTube TV." It feels a little bit like streaming is really like just touchdown dancing on the fucking regular stuff now. Like now you're touchdown dancing on AMC theaters with this AMC theater painted popcorn bag to eat at home because they're not gonna go to the theater, so they might as well have a theater experience at home with this cold ass popcorn. And just like Netflix is streaming quality movies and shit, the popcorn is the same thing. It's not as good as the theater experience. It's not as good as what's in the theater, but the convenience of, hey, at least it's in your house, at least it's at Walmart, is gonna fool people into being like, this is a good idea. It's like, no, we are taking less and less quality as we are getting bullshit like this. Like this popcorn is not as good a quality. It's not as good a quality as the popcorn that's already there that you can just go get Skinny Pop or over Redenbacher
bag. That's why I'm looking at you like the shit is cold. Like how you gonna heat it up? And I think also their thing is, hey, if you go to the movie theater, a family size tub is like $25. Ours is $4.99.
They're probably gonna lose money on it too.
No, they are.
Like,
and within 6 months, they're gonna discontinue it because they're not gonna buy that shit.
It's a trick. It's all a microcosm of the same streaming economy that Netflix has brought upon us.
And they're gonna start selling recliners in furniture stores. Get your Netflix red recliner with cup holder.
Of course, of course. Stop giving them ideas, JL.
Jonathan Majors has landed his first movie role after domestic assault conviction. That's
nice.
Right. If you thought he was canceled, he's back. All right.
Oh no.
Has he done Council Culture on Amazon yet with Nick Cannon?
Not yet.
Oh, but so that's coming in.
I can't decide if I want to watch that show or like forget it exists, because I feel like it's going to be the most ridiculous thing.
Let me ask you this. Who turns it down? Does Nick Cannon go, we can't have Jonathan Majors on here, he's too hot? Or does Jonathan Majors' representation go, don't you fucking go on that show? Like, who turns it down first?
The person who would turn it down, if either turned it down, would be Jonathan Majors, because I think Nick Cannon would be like, this could be our club Shay Shay. And the whole point of my show is council culture, not cancel culture. So like, it would be very odd not to have him on.
Yeah, and Nick loved them black men. So yeah.
Yeah. So it would be, I think Majors might be like, am I that desperate yet to just, I need anybody to support me?
Now I do think it's more likely to happen than not happen. If asked, I think Majors probably does go, but I just feel like if I'm his management, I'm like, and I don't think he's been listening to his management for a while, but if I'm his manager, I'm like, you can't do that, bro.
He has that thing, and my two examples of this are always the late actor Christopher Plummer and the current great actor Viola Davis, where when I heard them interviewed, I was always like, I feel like you're acting more in your interview than you are when you're on screen. Very natural, great performers. But in an interview, it's like, well, that's why I did that. And I feel like Jonathan Majors puts on his like deep acting method, like while being interviewed. Whereas like he's a good actor, but when he's been in an interview, he's like, I'm very tender and I'm very thoughtful right now about what's going on in the world.
Like
and I'm like, are you acting right now, sir?
I couldn't picture like just hanging out with him. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like he's always on. Now he did this movie is by Martin Villeneuve, who is the brother of the director
Denis Villeneuve.
So it's like, and the movie is called Merciless. It's a revenge thriller.
Well, I was gonna laugh. I wanted it to be called Done.
That's good.
Cookie. Sorry.
Yeah, I do like the idea of, I think it's smart to do a revenge thriller though, because that means his character has been wronged in some unforgivable way. And we'll watch a trailer of him being like, vengeance is owed to me who was unjustly done wrong. And you're rooting for me as a protagonist. And I think that's like a smart way to take it, so that because he can't express that in real life for real. We'll be like, are you fucking crazy? But you can do it as a character. It's like how Mel Gibson started being only bad guys.
Yes.
And you're like, I don't know. It works in John Wick, the TV show, because he is a bad guy and I'm not really rooting for him. And he's doing a good job of being a bad guy. And it's like the third or fourth bad guy role he's taken since doing his comeback. So I think it could work. And I think it's smarter than what Nate, what's his name? Nate Parker tried to do, where he was like, I'm just gonna do some more race movies. And I'm like, no, it's not gonna
hit the same.
It didn't. The race movie's not gonna work. It's the white guilt is not gonna help you in this. And you need some righteous black vengeance, so that black people will, will feel like we are with Will Smith right now. We're like, yeah, make that comeback. From what? There's no need to talk about like why Derrick Rose is back. We're just glad he's 6 Man of the Year, So I think that's what he's gonna bank on.
Not to tell you how to do your own show, but in my head, I was just thinking of the Aquafina.
Yeah,
her thing.
That clip, yes. I bet that's how every interview gonna be for this movie. Every promotion.
I always got it on deck.
I'm open to the conversation. I think it, it really is something that I think is a little bit multifaceted and layered. And so, yeah.
I almost feel bad. Wow. I almost feel bad.
I know that answer. That's how you get around it.
I almost feel bad for how much I love Aquafina's work, though.
Yes.
I almost feel like I would feel like a bad black.
Her work too.
I would feel like a bad black person, but I just don't. I don't believe in giving Black Twitter that power. But
nope.
I just watched Kung Fu Panda 4 last night, and she was great in that. She's always great in everything.
It was really good, and she was great in it.
I'm stunned though how much I really liked. My favorite thing she's done. I mean, she's been done voiceovers for a lot of stuff, but that movie about her grandma, The Farewell was incredible.
Right?
That movie was incredible. I was stunned. I was like, I watched it because I was bored one day, and I was like, if I don't like it, and I was like, what? And what a heartfelt and happy movie than you didn't expect.
Yeah,
it was so good.
It was really
she was so good, and low key, she was really good in Jumanji.
Yes, I enjoyed her in Jumanji too.
Part of Jumanji, they have to take on the characteristics of the other actors, and I think she ends up being Danny DeVito for a lot of the movie, and she's just doing this great Danny DeVito impression. She got a lot of talent, man. I hate that she loved black people's art so much that when she was a kid, she started rapping, and then niggas was gonna hate her for the rest of her life. I'm sorry that our culture influenced her so much. Anyway, we all love the boy bands from fucking Korea. That's fine. All right, so I want to show this clip of Jonathan Majors because he got an award last night. He got an award,
Perseverance Award or something.
The Perseverance Award at Hollywood from Hollywood Unlocked, which is Jason Lee.
Perseverance Award.
Who used to be on Love and Hip Hop. Very messy.
Is this the first annual award? I've never heard of this in my life.
First annual. The person that presented the award and then
couldn't give it to Brittany Griner. Had to be Jonathan Majors.
Now he gives a 17-minute speech, which I have not heard and will
17 minutes.
17 minutes.
What is you talking about?
probably being MLK or something. I don't know. But this clip is amazing because you get to see who presented him the award, and then they hug. This is before he even gives the speech. They hug for 30 seconds. So, Karen, do you know who that is?
Yes. Not on my watch. Yes.
Iyanla Vanzant. Okay, she was out there propping this man up. Okay,
you have a responsibility to Ruby Dee. You have a responsibility to Harriet Tubman. You have a responsibility to Dorothy and to Septima and to Rosa, whose blue veins were shining through her arms when she took that seat on that bus. They are the reason. They are the reason we sit here. When Della and Gladys and Pearl and had to walk in a back door of a theater so that we can get on there today in a phone. That's who you open your mouth. You matter. You matter.
and I feel like that's the perfect person to bring him back because he thinks he's MLK and Martin Luther and Malcolm X. So this is just the 30-second hug. Now we've always talked about this with Iyanla. I feel like her bosoms are just like they must give the hugs that just like relieve all
the next power.
Yeah, just take all of the like guilt and anxiety out of your body and make you feel like cleansed. Because look how long it is.
And the picture in the back looks like it's a memorial for him, like he died. There was like a faded picture of him smiling like he was an honors student.
Will he put his hands on his hips first at the beginning like this, man? Dog, I can't separate this from him being acting. I can't. This is the longest hug. Okay,
of all time. What is happening here?
Was Megan good here?
You know she was front and center.
Oh, and they're playing the John Legend Common song. They're playing One Day.
which is a song from a movie about MLK.
Oh shit. Oh, I won.
Shedding a tear out of the other eye during
I wonder the things going on in the background. I wonder they was like, since you're coming back for a dead career, we're gonna make this like an in memorial, like you died for the TV show, like you know that. So they was like, let's do it like that.
JL, I don't think it would be Chris Pine anymore. I think it'll have to be John Bernthal. I think he's coming for Chris Pine's ally spot.
Yes, he is.
They just cut to him
coming
in the crowd,
for number one spot,
crying.
Yeah. So what? We can't forgive. We can't forgive.
Oh man, but yeah, Jonathan Major's trying to come back, man. We'll see if that works.
Yeah, we'll see.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has failed to qualify for the CNN debate.
No shit.
So it'll only be Trump and
wouldn't he the one talking about I'm picking my partner? It's like, partner for what, bitch? You not what the fuck is happening?
It's vice president.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Yeah, it was between like Aaron Rodgers. And like
he just picked he literally picked a rich lady because she could help fund his campaign. That's second in command.
Yeah,
gonna take that money and run. That person ain't never gonna see that man again.
Also,
it's time to run again.
Are we missing anything really by him not being there? I feel like Trump has the crazy covered.
You know what?
Like there's no need to have a person there to out crazy him in the first place. And like, not to be a dick to all my hardcore like political people that really believe in all the stuff that we're taught in schools about third parties and shit, but I've never liked when the third party candidate was on the dais this late into a race because
you're wasting time.
One, in addition to not winning, all the third party candidates pick and choose left and right issues that make them they can't win. Like they always like they never like they're never the extreme of one. Like if it was like, I think it would almost be better for America if like the third party candidate was extremely left or extremely right.
Yes.
And you're like, oh, this is the real choice for my liberal self, or this is the real choice for my conservative self. Instead, they're like, I'm against climate change, but also pro-choice. And I'm like,
yeah,
no one's voting for that.
Yeah, and my thing about the third party, and I will continue to say this till they prove me wrong, you're always grifters. Like whenever a third party come up, you're grifters, because we never ever hear about you until it's time to run for president. Never hear about you. And then when you don't win, or you don't run, or you like you say, you don't get the votes, you end up dropping out. And a lot of people have wasted millions of dollars and sometimes billions of dollars donating to you for you to fucking disappear and steal it. Right. Because and my thing for most people is, we have a two-party system. I understand y'all want a third party, and my thing, I am a do something about it person for this issue. Do something about it then. Run. Be dog catcher, be mayor, be senator, be school board, like do like the groundwork. Nobody wants to do that. They just want to come in and then expect one party or the other party to throw money at them,
right?
So that they can just automatically be in charge of shit. And it was like, it don't work like that. It just don't.
Yeah, and they never win. They're never close to winning. They only are there to possibly spoil it for one party or the other. But
right,
it just seems like Kennedy Jr., the same way that people feel like the bar has been lowered for the main parties, and like what the candidates have to be is like lower than what they feel like it's ever been. It's definitely lower for third party too, then, because this is like crackpot laughing stock shit. Like, you know, I got a dead worm in my brain. Vaccines don't work, but also I'm gonna give black people reparations, but like I don't need a plan for it. Like,
and it's a waste of a vote, because people know that they're not gonna win. But particularly on the left, I know people do this bullshit because they want to feel pure and moral. It was like, well, bitch, if you want, you're either gonna participate in the system or not.
Yeah, he's so bad. I judge people that try to like bring him up as like this. Like, it's almost like a flex of like, well, you know, I mean, the guy I like is, I'm like, no, that's worse. I'd almost rather you say you like Trump, just to be like, well, it means he got a shot to win. Liking Robert F. Kennedy Jr. just lets you know you're stupid and y'all ain't gonna win.
All right.
What are you gonna say, J-L?
No, I just think I agree. It's you know, it's one of those things where people, I think the libertarians and the sort of far left people have in common that I don't think they're interested in actually winning. I think they want to make win debates. Like they want to win points because they're not actually kind of invested in a lot of ways. They're just like, I want to, it's almost like a social media attitude, except this is real life. And when people will say, you know, I remember Rob Reiner wrote, you know, hey, third party, you know, all you're doing is ruining the country and handing it to Trump. Now, part of me understands saying, hey, like, I wish we lived in the country, because you can't say the truth, which is we have too many stupid people voting. So third parties will give people who lack perspective and knowledge of how the system works and what real consequences are to your vote. There's too many of them. So a third party is like a shiny toy that makes them think that they're like taking a stand, but they're really just helping the worst of two options. So I get what the person's saying. They have to say, like, don't run third party because you'll ruin everything. You can't say because people are dumb. Because I'd love to live in a country where it's like, hey, have 20 parties. The best person will win. That won't happen. Right. And so you'll see people troll guys like that, like, oh, yes, the key to democracy is less democracy. And I get that, of course, in theory. That's a theory. But at some point, theory has to meet the real world. And I feel like the far left and libertarians are not pro-reality. They are pro-theory. They want to live in theory.
And it's funny, too, because in general, I think the two parties makes it the most simple choice. Like, we can't handle a lot of complexity in America, but I'm glad it's as simple as like, this is good, this is bad based on your belief system. I don't think we really can handle more or need more, because that to me makes it easy. I'm a pragmatic person. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, this is the better guy. for me in my life. But yeah, it's interesting that he didn't qualify for those debates and that he won't be fucking on our TV screen. And I'm so glad, because I just think it would have served as nothing but a distraction.
Right.
And I just don't think we have time for that right now. And as you said, I have zero faith in the general American mind. So I don't want any extra. I'm just like, keep it as simple as possible and just we'll see what we get. Georgia Republican convicted in January 6 riots walks out during televised congressional primary debate. A Georgia congressional candidate convicted of a misdemeanor for illegally demonstrating inside the U.S. Capitol January 6 walked out of a televised debate with a fellow Republican on Sunday ahead of the June 18th primary runoff. It was the latest volatile turn in Southwest Georgia's 2nd congressional district, where Chuck Hand and Wayne Johnson are competing for the GOP nomination to take on the 16-term Democrat incumbent Representative Sanford Bishop in November. Hand is one of at least 4 people convicted of January 6 crimes running for Congress this year.
Get him. I have a question. How did we find out that Merrick Garland get him? Did a journalist come up and like, hey, you were there? Like, what happened for them to be like, but you know what? They actually have shame. A lot of them don't have shame. Like, fuck it, I ran and I'm not dropping out.
Yeah, so I think he got busted a while ago. He got sentenced to 20 days in federal prison and 6 months of probation. At the beginning of the debate, sponsored by Atlanta Press Club, Hand said he was refusing to debate Johnson after Michael Nixon, who finished 3rd in the 4-way May 21st primary, gave a news conference last month endorsing Johnson. Nixon brought up on a 2005 criminal trespass charge and a 2010 he brought up a 2005 criminal trespass charge and a 2010 DUI against Hand, both of which were dismissed. Nixon also cited federal court documents to argue Hand's participation in January 6th riot was more serious than Hand had claimed.
Somebody did their research. Somebody got their team on it.
This is my thing, right? We don't hear very many stories like this covered and they don't get much traction.
Right.
This is Republican infighting. I love this shit. Because I feel like if it was Democrats disagreeing over like which side of the toast to butter, it's like, breaking news, AOC disagrees with the Representative Nancy Pelosi about, and you're just like, God damn, it makes it sound like there's total disarray on the DNC side. But like something like this is pretty serious where motherfuckers like, this guy's a whole ass criminal and tried to overthrow the country. And then the other dude's like, I will refuse to debate you because what you just did is a low blow, my friend. And I'm like,
but you did it, nigga. You did it. What are we talking about here?
So ghetto, but I love it. Oh man.
It's honestly, this is what's at stake. And the lives lost is obviously different than like the post-Civil War. But this is basically like after the Civil War, you had 8 years of Grant, basically like the feds are going to go in the South. We're going to actually enforce the law and the Constitution, and you're going to see some real changes. And then in 1876, they basically said, okay, to get a Democrat in office, I forget, or was it to get a Republican in office, we'll agree to take everybody out of the South and you can do what you want.
Right.
And, you didn't have penalties. You didn't have like for people who were in the Civil War, it was this kind of like, hey, but at least those were like big issues at the time.
Right.
It's like, we're just going like, yeah, well, like Trump can run again. And people who were at the Capitol can run for Congress and for a state representative. Like who gives a shit? Like we don't even have to have a reckoning or a truth and reconciliation committee or commission. We just, you just go back. Like, go back. And I thought there's an article in yesterday's Times that like shocked me. And it was a front page story because I got the print edition. So I don't know what kind of traction it got digitally, but it was talking about how Republicans in the House, because they control the House, this is freaky shit.
Yeah.
Are basically not allowing Democrats to refer to Trump as a felon. They're saying that's like unbecoming of the House, like of the, kind of classiness of the House. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, all due respect to my conservative queen. They're classing up the place. And the guy actually erased it from the House record. Like the mention, they were like, please strike that from the record. So it's like, this is like a small but significant example of like, oh, you're gonna rewrite history in a little way so far. Oh,
Exactly.
you know, he's not, and he's a felon. That's not calling Trump a liar or fat or stupid. Right. That's a fact. He is a convicted felon. And they're like, that's unbecoming of the, like, as if these people defend the thing. They go every day calling Joe Biden a criminal enterprise and that's okay.
Exactly.
And it's
right. Right. And if it was
shocked when I read that article, because that was like wow. That is,
and I guarantee you they'll be bringing up Hunter Biden as a felon at some point.
Yes,
and it won't even be relevant to anything they actually need to do in Congress. But they'll find a way to slide in that Hunter Biden's a felon and therefore his dad is corrupt.
Yes, and like I said, if it was the other way around, they'd be talking about it every day, all day, and you couldn't get them to shut the fuck up about it.
Now here's the actual I guess the clip of the debate they were having. Let me turn the volume up.
Hi, Mr. Hand. Congress is currently working on a new farm bill, which will have a big impact on the 2nd District. What are your thoughts on the current House Republican plan? And specifically, would you support the controversial proposal to cut food aid?
Okay, first of all, this motherfucker got on a cat. The company that does like tractors and trailers shit.
Mm-hmm.
He's got on a jean shirt, rolled up sleeves.
Looks like the dude from Sunny in Philadelphia. He's Charlie Day, like a buff Charlie Day.
He looked like he just got.
I just want to run for Congress, man. Come on, let's fucking. January 6th was cool, right? January 6th, that was awesome. Let's do it. Let's run for Congress, man. Let's go.
He got his steel toe work boots, and he just got off of his Bobcat and walked straight into this goddamn theater.
He looks like Jason Bourne trying to hide out in a small town.
Not the small town.
What is this bullshit?
For low-income Americans.
I'm Chuck Hand, lifelong resident of the 2nd District. I've worked side by side with the people of the 2nd District, solving problems since 2018. I've only seen this man next to me come around when it's election time, wanting to run for office. I've been wearing tires slam out in Southwest Georgia, meeting with voters and building relationships in our communities for years now.
What? Is he real?
This has nothing to do with the question he was asked.
The contrast between the two of them, to me, was hilarious because I was not expecting like some 80-year-old gentleman Republican to be like, "Where am I?" and next to this guy who looks like he looks prepared to shoot him. Like,
yes, he got a revolver in his back pocket.
Next to this dude, I'd be like, "We did like a check for weapons, right?"
Chuck Hand looked like he worked for the other dude. Like the other dude comes out and goes like, "All right, so listen, how long is it gonna take you to cut the back 40 on the property? Because we having an event.
Right. We're having an event planned and it needs to be done by 6.
I'm interested in debating the issues of the 2nd District with a man who doesn't even reside in it, especially one who orchestrates attacks on my wife. I'm more concerned about beating Sanford Bishop, representing you, and passing the America First agenda and putting Donald Trump back in the White House. This race is very simple. It's either 8th District money or 2nd District heart. The choice is yours. It's the dollar versus the change. Now, this is where I get back in my truck and head back to Southwest Georgia because I got two races to win.
Thank you very much. Doug Reardon, you're not staying, sir?
He kind of shook his head like Stone Cold Steve Austin, like after he's told somebody to F off. And that's the way it is.
Honestly, the only thing that can make that better is if, as he walked off, they played walk-off music. You know? Can you take me higher?
To be honest, though, a couple of those lines. A couple of those lines were good, though. Like if he was able to debate on the issues, he had some good phrases. Right. It's the
about
dollar
the dollar
versus the change. That's good.
Yeah, that was good. It's about District 2 hard or District 2 District $8 or District 2 hard.
Yeah.
Put his hand right here and shit.
Our prediction was correct. He did get on a tractor trailer truck to come up there. He said, my 18-wheeler warming up in the back. What the fuck is this? You're wasting my diesel for this bullshit. I'm about to get out. I'm about to get on my truck and head back home.
I actually think it was just a tractor. Not even a tractor. Just a fucking like a tractor you cut industrial lawns with.
A John Deere?
Yeah, he hopped on a John Deere, drove it back on the highway like, this son of a bitch got me fucked up.
He should have turned the hat around like Over the Top, the arm wrestling movie, just to let everybody know he meant business.
He should have said, we can cut this damn debate right now about 55 minutes. I challenge you to arm wrestle right now. I'm going, and then he don't do it right away. After he struggles for a bit, he turns the hat backwards, and then he then he wins the arm wrestle.
Hey, baby, when he walked off the stage, he should have been like, here I go again on my own. Wow, wow.
Oh,
that should have been his music walking off the stage.
This is where I get back in my truck, go back to Southwest Georgia, because I got 2 races to win. And neither one of them races is black or Mexican. If you
right, because he didn't even answer the question.
God damn, man. This is a shit show. Once again, this will be the #1 story if this is some fucking like
a Republican walk off the stage doing a goddamn debate. This will be top news.
If this was a party we expected to govern and to like be serious and try to win elections, we'd be like, that's a ridiculous thing for an elected official to do. But of course, that's not.
You think Trump? I wonder if that's going to be what Trump does. Like, if he pulls like 20 minutes into it and goes, "This is totally corrupt. This is you're biased. This is a joke. I'm leaving. Donate at Trump.com."
Yeah,
I can see him doing some bullshit and just walking off the stage in the middle of the debate.
He probably will fuck up the line and be like, "This is District 19 money."
But like
Katniss Everdeen, remember Katniss from District 10? She's, they were hungry. They were hungry because Sleepy Joe didn't feed them. He took their food. It's called Hunger Games, but it's serious. They call it games, but it's actually serious. We call it Hunger Serious. Sirius XM radio. It's a total joke. I prefer regular radio. Remember when we had regular radio? You could just listen. You put on your radio, and you didn't have to get a whole extra package of radio. No, sir. Would you like extra radio? No, I'll just take the regular radio. Thank you. We don't need extra radio. Total waste.
Man, you still get the best Trump, man.
That's hilarious.
It's not even close. Also, you know what? Let's move segments. I want to talk about some other stuff as well. Let's get into let's do some white people news, everybody.
White people news. Exciting to the barbecue. We might be problematic. For a little bit white people do.
All right, let's see what the whites are up to. No need to get stressed out about politics, everybody. Let's get into our white gossip. Amy Roback and TJ Holmes, ex-spouses Andrew Shue and Mary Lee Fiebig flaunt major PDA in NYC.
Oh, shit now.
PDA in NYC, y'all, is happening.
Come on, PDA in NYC.
And I just want to say, this is some white gossip I know about because I listened to their podcast and I was following the mess for a while. And I told my friend Janisha, I believed it when it happened. When the rumor first was out there, like, oh, their spouses are hooking up with each other. And she was like, no, this is probably TJ and Amy are putting that out to make it seem not as bad what they're doing. So that we'll be like, oh, well, I guess it's okay that they cheated with each other because their spouses were with each other. And I said, nah, you don't make something up like this. This real. And I wanted to believe. And finally we got confirmation. We had seen them in the airport together
a while ago, right?
And I said that was enough for me. I said, yeah, that shit happened. But yeah, lately they've been out here, look, arm in arm, laughing. I love how they laughing. It's like they saw the paparazzi. It's like, all right, put your smiles on. We're gonna make this as uncomfortable as possible for them. Look at how their faces touching in this selfie.
Yeah, the only thing they could do better is start their own podcast.
Oh, man.
I hope they do.
They start their own podcast. I don't know what I'm gonna do, man. I have to
do.
listen to that shit at least once. And there's also a picture of them where they were like kissing in the public. Let me see if I can find that one. But yeah,
it was like, since we out in the open, we all gonna be out in the open. Y'all ain't shamed, we ain't shamed.
I absolutely love it. Yeah, all right, I got it. Because you know the TJ thing with Amy is he always grabbing on that ass. You know, like the haha, look at, I got some of this lower back up in my hands, y'all. This is them. Look what he doing. Look what Andrew Shue doing.
Mm-hmm.
He on that ass. I see what you doing, player. Okay, the PDA is growing.
I got to admit though, that's not a good one. That it's like kind of like that looks like they were on set and somebody said, "Okay, just grab her ass and hug her real quick." It didn't have the look of like, yes. Do you know what I mean? Like, if it's kind of like, oh, am I hugging you this way or this way? Like, you got.
So I have to refute that slightly in this way, right? It looks more real to me because it don't look well. Like TJ shit looks staged. He finds the camera. They got the posture. She's trying to stick it out a little bit.
They just finished running.
It looks like we have to sell that we are so fucking like lusting
love,
that. Like
right?
our love is so fucking hot that it doesn't matter that we're cheating pieces of shit. They shit look like he just grabbed her ass because he was like, "Oh, girl, I'll see my girl out in the streets." Like it feels a little less staged to me. But he is an actor. And I feel like they should do what TJ and them do. I feel like they should start showing up to those events dressed to the nines.
I would
take it to the sexy level because he can do it. Like I want to see them go full petty, but oh man, I love that for them. I always thought they got done wrong. JL, are you following this Kate Middleton thing at all?
What happened? What's happening? What's up with Kate? Actress.
No, that's the queen. Yeah. That's the queen to be. The queen to be in England.
I love that Karen had to try.
Kate Beckinsworth is an actress.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the one that got sick. Okay, my bad.
I haven't heard what's happened recently, but she had cancer, right? She was getting treated for cancer, and they thought she was like had been disappeared by the Crown.
Yes, they were like, they got her.
Right. Well, she is now back doing public events. But she's keeping everything a secret, like right down to her dress choices. That's the dress she pulled up in with the kids in the back of the carriage. She went as far as to rewear a dress from her closet in order to keep her return to the public eye a secret while making contingency plans if she felt ill.
Not my royal family.
Right?
Wearing the same outfit twice?
Everyone's down bad, Karen. The cancer-stricken Princess of Wales was keen to join her family at King Charles's birthday celebration and Trooping the Color parade this past Saturday. But there were only a few people kept in the loop. She personally called in her father-in-law, who also is being treated for cancer, to tell him the good news, and he was delighted she could attend. The King's spokesperson told Page 6. And here they are with their kids who never look happy in the photos.
They do not.
It's weird. She the only one smiling, actually.
Yeah, she the only one on script.
Right. Like they brought her back for this. For them to, y'all should all be smiling.
To be fair, King Charles would also be with me at House Stark in terms of people who had to wait a lot longer than they thought.
Right.
Like he was at like 73, cancer at 73 and a half. Like
yes. They definitely would call him the king that never was until he got that throne.
Yeah. It is Viserys on.
Right.
Let's see. John Mulaney and Olivia Munn. You know who that is, Karen?
Actors.
Comedian, kind of close. Like John Mulaney's a stand-up comedian. Olivia Munn is an actress. She used to be on G4 TV back in the day. And
yes, I missed that show.
She played Psylocke in that X-Men Apocalypse movie.
Yes.
She was with Aaron Rodgers.
She was with Aaron Rodgers for a while. Now there's speculation that maybe they got married. Because speculation was sparked that he secretly wed Olivia Munn after posting and deleting a Father's Day Photo Sunday. In the Instagram upload, the comedian 41 ate a baked potato beside the couple's 2-year-old son, Malcolm, while wearing a silver band on his ring finger. So this is the infamous picture here. And that his son is yes, I look like my daddy t-shirt, but you can kind of see a silver band on his hand. But
delete this photo. Delete this photo. I don't. My ex-wife is gonna sue me. Delete it. Thank you.
Oh man.
He really. I mean, from what I can tell, obviously you never know the exact, and you can't judge anybody until you've been in their shoes. But it seems like he did his ex-wife about as wrong as you can. Like, not in a he was cheating. This goes like way more to the core. Like, I don't want kids. And she's like, I want kids. And it's like, I guess not. And then like he goes to rehab, hooks up with her, asks for a divorce, and she's pregnant. Like, that is like, I don't think you can do an ex-wife worse than that in terms of, because it's everything. It's like everything. It's not just, I had a fling, I'm sorry. Or, we have different. It was like, oof. You know,
the question I have, and only they know the answer to, is that because it's such a drastic thing, as you said, it makes me wonder if that's the kind of thing where you're like, I can never not be on drugs with you, and so you have to go. Like, there's not a negotiable of like, we'll get off it together. Like, I want to get clean, and that can't happen as long as we're together, and I'm moving on with my life, and bam. I did see his last special. I thought it was really good. I never see him trash his ex-wife or anything like that.
He is in no position to. I think she has been like, she was like blindsided, like in the word, like, but only Donald Trump would like trash his life in this situation where it's like,
yes, because
you're very nasty how you're talking to me. Just because I said I didn't want kids, and then when I got the taste of Hollywood women, I immediately, like, because that's going to be one of those things that not to say a regular wife, but you know what your husband's a famous entertainer, so you might have a little bit of that insecurity of like, he's always around these like A-listers and these Hollywood women, so you have to have extra trust, kind of, just to and for it to be like, I'm having a kid with a hot Hollywood actress that I met while we were still together, like when I went to rehab. And now I wanted to vote. Like, it's pretty bad.
I'm with you. It's a bad look. I don't know how that, like I said, that was the only, and I will never know, but that was the only thing I could imagine. Because I'm like, dog, even just as a human being, you didn't know how this would look. like you just gonna live the rest of your life with this hanging over your head. And he was a comedian also that had a pretty good like white woman fan base. And you know, that's like some patron saint of white woman shit. You can't do that to a white lady and have everybody join your side as a dude. Julia Louis-Dreyfus says it is a red flag when comedians complain about political correctness. She said
she just keeps climbing my charts. Like, she is near the top of my charts for like all-time women in terms of the total package that she brings. And then this is just another one. She's not afraid to throw some shade at Seinfeld.
She said, if you look back on comedy and drama both, let's say 30 years through the lens of today, you might find bits and pieces that don't age well. And I think to have an antenna about sensitivities is not a bad thing. It doesn't mean that all comedy goes out the window as a result. When I hear people starting to complain about political correctness, and I understand why people might push back on it, but to me, that's a red flag because it sometimes means something else. I believe being aware of certain sensitivities is not a bad thing. I don't know how else to say it. I respect that.
Very well.
Exactly. Perfectly nuanced, gets the point, doesn't condemn anybody one way or the other, but says, when I see somebody complain about it, I'm curious. Go say more so that I know if you are honestly, because I mean, we've had talks where it's like, sometimes people can just be annoyed. They're like, you can't say that, you can't do it. So it's not like if you ever have an issue with people trying to censor it, that you're like, part of the Rogan squad who just want to say slurs. But like, so that leaves an opening also for Seinfeld, where she's like not saying, Jerry, you're an idiot, but it's like, Jerry, think about it yourself.
And kind of ironically, this morning, I caught this latter half of one of my favorite comedies of all time, Tropic Thunder. I just happened to put it on like Showtime or some shit. Right, was I woke up, and it had started at after he has to do Simple Jack for the kidnappers. And listen, man, that last 40 or so minutes of that movie
is greatness.
It rolls. It's so perfect to me.
Simple Jack, dumbass Jack.
Like RDJ, and it's so smart. Like it's because I think what I hate when people talk about the movie and they go, "Well, you couldn't make it today." Maybe you couldn't, but that shouldn't be the discussion around that movie.
Right.
The reason that movie works is because it's actually really fucking smart. It's aware of every critique you want to level at it, and it takes it on. Like it doesn't run from it. Like, oh,
look at the cast. Look at the cast. Like, don't tell me that movie isn't gonna make that have Tom Cruise, Matthew McConaughey, Ben Stiller, Nick Nolte, Steve Coogan, Robert Downey Jr., Jack Black. I mean, that's practically a We Are the World of like comedy.
Yes, and the thing is, Tom Cruise, that's one of the first roles Tom Cruise played that I didn't even realize it was Tom Cruise to the after credits today. So I was like, that was fucking Tom Cruise. Like when you first seen it, you had no idea that was Tom Cruise.
I know I'm gonna sound stupid saying this. I'm a big Tom Cruise fan, but honest to God, no joke, it was the final credits dancing to Ludacris before I was like, because they had kept it a secret. That's the thing. It was before all this social media shit. When you went to a movie and they were like, "Do you know Taylor Swift's in Deadpool for 7 minutes?" I'm like, "Why the fuck would you tell me that, asshole?"
Right.
I haven't seen the fucking, like, it's not even in the trailer. They clearly want to like have the element of surprise if that's gonna happen. And then with this, it was like he shows up and I'm like, that dude looks so fucking familiar. But
that's how I was like, who is that? I was like, I know that's not that guy, like he's in, but I don't know who that is. That's exactly how I was thinking.
And it was when he started dancing to Ludacris at the very end. I was like, I'm like looking around the theater like, does everyone know who that's Tom Cruise? And it was so good as Lex Grossman or whatever his name was. And then
I don't care. It was just like, I don't care that he's not in his daughter's life. That's how big Tom Cruise is. And I don't feel good saying that, but I feel like he earned another 3 years of me not caring about his personal life with Lex Grossman.
That's what a movie star is. Okay, that's what a movie star is right there. Is I leave out of Mission Impossible, and I'm like, they didn't make 2 of those. You know what I mean? Like only one dude's jumping in over there to break his fucking leg. You know, like Tom Cruise as a movie star is like Tim Duncan as an athlete, by which I mean he dedicates himself so solely to the purpose of winning the movie, winning the box office. No one on that set gets to have an attitude. No one gets to do anything. When I just finished watching Mission Impossible Fallout again for this review I did with MC University podcast. It was great. It was fun. I was so glad I got to rewatch it again. I rewatched it.
I'm sorry, that reminds me. I didn't comment on this, but you said in a very recent episode, it might have even been, I think it was the Game of Thrones episode, you said that's the job, and I was waiting for Karen to go, that's the job, and she didn't. I was like, I thought I was gonna get my Angela Bassett.
Good job.
Yes.
And also the greatest trailer of all time, period. There's never been there'll never be another movie trailer better than
that. Is my jam. I remember for like a whole year, every time that shit came on, me and Roger would bust out in the goddamn dance. I ain't give a fuck.
That Imagine Dragons tuning up with the Mission Impossible theme, and the moment that it comes in the trailer is so fucking perfect.
Yeah.
There's never been anything like that before. And then the clips from the trailer with Henry Cavill double cocking his fucking fist, and then everyone forgets it's not even in the movie. The last scene in that trailer is him flying a helicopter into a truck. That's not in the fucking movie. It's just for the trailer. That's the great anyway.
Yes, and then the scenes change to the beat. Let's go.
My point being, even Alec Baldwin. Anyway, I'm sorry. I could do this for another hour, but
I quote that all the time. I misquote it all the time on my podcast when I say shit like the bad guy says like the consequences, the heart, forget it, but he says it's like the chilling kind of like the worse this happens, the worse this will be. And I was like, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah, I know what you're saying. It's like the worst,
suffering. The greater the suffering.
Yes, and then like first, and that guy has such a perfect bad guy voice, and just bringing him back just to say cool shit like that. But the thing I was gonna say is I just watched Mission Impossible Fallout again. Yeah, man, I don't care that he's. There's nothing you can tell me. I'm not gonna pretend to be unbiased.
Right.
I'm not even gonna pretend that he's innocent or no shit like that. He's good enough at movies that if you're like, Scientology is a cult, I'm like, that is fucked up, man.
But so
Mission
Impossible 75.
Reserving my tickets now for.
My joke about Tom Cruise has always been, do you not think that he has more evidence that he's right on religion than just about anybody on earth? Like, who are you to tell Tom Cruise that Scientology doesn't work or isn't right? He's like, well, I'm 62. I can still sprint and jump out of planes, and I look 49. I'm a billionaire. I'm a mogul. I've had many opportunities to get canceled due to scandal, and none of them work.
Right.
And people love me. And I show up to every premiere worldwide, and I'm greeted like a hero, period.
Yep. Yes, and the thing about Tom Cruise, I heard Kevin Hart talk about Tom Cruise. And Kevin Hart was like, y'all know I am one of the hardest working people. Y'all know I'm everywhere. I'm in all the premieres and previews. He said, and I wanted to see, who out there was doing as much as me. And he said, Tom Cruise goes to premieres and he say, and shakes every fucking person's hand out there. He say, no matter how goddamn long the line is, he say, so everybody gets to greet him and everybody gets to see him and everybody gets autographs. And he was like, he travels all around the world. He's at like every premiere. He was like, there's no way. He's like, and I'm everywhere. He's like, there's no way I could reach that level.
He dedicates himself to being a movie star, but even more important than that, he dedicates himself to being a movie star in the movie too. Like, so one of the stories they told me during MC University when we talked about this, he flew that helicopter for real.
Oh yeah.
And he didn't have enough hours to have his license to fly a helicopter on the set when they started filming. So what he did was he flew to set in a helicopter every day, which registers hours so you can fucking do the scene. Wow. Fucking insane, man.
He's like, oh, word, I need hours. So what I'm going to do, go ahead and make me a helicopter pad.
He flew to helicopter just to be like, all right, that's another hour down. And then we'll just keep doing that till I got enough hours to where I can fly this scene.
God damn.
He is like, they call it for Kobe fans, the Mamba mentality. But I feel like for movie stars, it's the Tom Cruise mentality because he, even though more of like Kobe would not be filmed in a gym practicing. Like, in other words, you just know he's putting in that practice. Whereas what Tom Cruise does, everything's on film. So you see all the work, but like that is the equivalent. It's like everything to be great at movies and a great movie star. I'm doing more than anybody else. I'm shaking like Kevin Hart. I'm shaking every hand.
Much like Kobe, I really wish I could be a fly on the wall when other movie stars get in that room and realize, oh, fuck, I'm not doing it like this. Like, I'm sure
people worship Tom Cruise. Like when you talk about like at premieres and at the Oscars, people want to meet him because he is this like he is the last of like a Mount Rushmore type movie star that really can't exist anymore. Even though, if you saw Chris Hemsworth or The Rock, you'd be like, oh my God.
It's not the
but
same.
Tom Cruise is like this next level.
Yeah. And so the other thing I want to see is like I want to see the day that they're setting up like the scene, and he's like, so this scene we jump from we parachute down into France and we land on the Louvre and and Henry Cavill's realizing like, oh no, this motherfucker's jumping. Like,
he did that motorcycle thing, and they was like, well,
I'm ready to do all the acting on a plane where I am about to, where I walk up to the edge and then some dude jumps out for me. No, Tom Cruise is like, and then obviously.
Didn't Henry Cavill pass out or something? Didn't he have to do some part of that stunt? I thought I had read Like
well, I
when
know
they
his
jumped into that
his
plane.
character passes out in the script. I don't know what happened. I just heard he didn't do it. Like I heard Tom Cruise was like, "Oh, I'm gonna do it," and Henry Cavill was like, "But why would we do that part?" You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. I don't want to put my stuntman out of a job. I'm a job creator. I'll sit here on set.
Like I just imagine Tom Cruise's stuntmen show up and read newspapers.
Of course.
Like they're just on set, like walking around, just like talking to people.
Only time they showed up was like, Tom's going to be 5 minutes late. Can you just say these words real quick?
Like his stunt double is really just his body double. You know that like where they're like, we need to get the lighting right and everything, and then that's okay. Boom, the explosion's going to be over here. So then
we're going that way. So when we leave the set, could stunt double drive his car that way so all the paparazzi go that way?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like that's gotta be the boringest job in Hollywood is being his stunt double.
Yes.
Well, I think that after seeing that movie with Gosling, the stunt movie, Fall Guy.
Yeah. Yes.
I remember reading a lot and they said it, I'm surprised that stunt people don't have an Oscar category. It's like, and to me, this would be the perfect time to do it is with the next Mission Impossible. You let Tom Cruise win the first best stuntman or be part of the stunt team. So he gets his Oscar. You don't have to wait to give him like a lifetime. You give him like a kind of legit one. Yeah. And he's and then that legit, now that immediately makes it a real deal, like impressive Oscar. And Tom gets his, and it's like Oscar winner Tom Cruise.
Couldn't agree more, and it would be so important if it was for Mission Impossible because him and the director come up with the stunts and then make the movie on the fly. Wow. Yes. This is bananas. This is movie star shit. Movie star shit is like, we need to jump off of a mountain onto a train. How do we make that part of the plot? That's why he's built different. But all right. But yeah, Tropic Thunder still holds up, and I think that's why I don't really do the like cancel culture complaining shit. Cause I'm like, one, I'm still laughing at that today. I have my 2024 sensibilities.
Right.
I understand that it's comedy, and it's still funny to me right the fuck now.
And Color Up Some of Them Greens got to be the funniest ass line I've ever heard in my life. I don't care what y'all say.
There's so many lines. Honestly, like, I think what's so wild about that is his performance is so good. The latter half of that performance is him doing the meta shit of like, now I'm back to being the Australian guy who was stuck into being that fucking like meta actor bullshit. And like some of those lines are still fucking hidden. Even the way his accent works, like when he goes to take off the makeup, because Ben Stiller's character, like they're trying to wake him up out of his like Simple Jack, like trying to be a star for those people thing, and it actually ends up waking up Robert Downey Jr.'s character to come back to Kirk Lazarus or whatever. But there's this moment where he's taking off his makeup, and then he's like, I'm not such Osiris. And he takes off one of his fucking sideburns. He's like, I'm not Father O'Malley or whatever in the Irish accent. like he does like 2 or 3 other accents before he gets back to Kirk Lazarus.
Let's go.
Oh, and then just like the blue of the eye color. It's just such a perfect fucking movie.
It is.
And like everyone hits their note. Robert Downey Jr. is just like so exceptional, but Jack Black murders it. Like even that joke, the throwaway joke about the black rapper he's in love with a guy named Lance or whatever, and he's like, I ain't gay, man, I get it. And then at the fucking Oscars or whatever, he's sitting next to Lance Bass. Right. And it's like, this movie's so fucking smart and good. So I just refuse to believe and give in to that idea that like we can't make things like this anymore. And I kind of hate that the big budget comedy has kind of died on our watch because everyone's pulling up short, scared. Because to me, the real reason you can't make that movie now is because you can't get that cast. No one's gonna spend the money on those special effects. That Danny McBride is like 8th billing. You know, like 12th billing on that fucking cast is Danny fucking McBride. It's that loaded. No one's doing that anymore.
I think I was gonna say just 2 quick things. You know how I feel about The Dark Knight, obviously.
Yes. Oh man.
But I believe that as time goes on, Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder is like a top 10 performance of all time. Like that, I don't think that's extreme to say. Like, I think it is that great. It is that like, and he is considered a very talented actor. And I think for all the great things he's done, I just think, you know, Iron Man will be his like, you know, and Chaplin will be like his big pictures and when he passes away many years from now. But it's the friggin' Tropic Thunder performance that's like, this is a landmark comedy performance.
In 2024, as polarized as we are, Black people will cuss you the fuck out if you try to bring up Robert Downey Jr. in a bad way in that movie. Like if you try to pull the like, well, you know he did blackface. It's like, oh, what the fuck you talking about? That don't count as one of the ones.
That don't count.
Like that, he was aware of that shit in a way that this wasn't motherfucker putting on some paint and going to Halloween. Like that was the point. And that's one of the reasons I didn't like a lot of the criticism of the last like 15 years of social media. If you point out the point of the joke, you're not actually being critical or smart. And I know this is a more controversial one, but I feel this way about this too. When Amy Schumer made the joke about, I used to prefer consensual, but I was like, no, the joke
I used to date Latin guys, but now I prefer consent.
Right. And people went, wow, that's a racist joke. I was like, yeah, the point is on the stage is at that moment, I'm a bad person making a bad observation. I'm saying the thing you're not supposed to say and it's wrong.
Right.
What's my other man that does it? Not Jeselnik. Tosh.0. When Tosh goes on stage and he's making these fucked up jokes, the point is I'm the fucked up character. Now don't come see the show if you don't want to hear fucked up jokes.
Right.
But you don't get to like eviscerate me like you discovered that he makes jokes about things that are fucked up. Yes, that's my point. So I hate that level of criticism, and I think that's the kind of criticism that doesn't get Tropic Thunder, but I don't respect that criticism. So Tropic Thunder is still classic. Justin Timberlake got arrested. He got a DWI.
I heard.
For blowing through a stop sign. What is it, like the Hamptons or something like that.
So much swanky.
43 years old. They got him coming out of the police station in handcuffs. This picture was going viral. You know, a lot of people don't like Justin Timberlake. He's been catching a lot of flack.
I don't have a problem.
Twitter had this trending, you know, all the people that are, you know, anti locking people up were very excited to see they finally got one. He was released on bail. There was a fake tweet going around from Pooh Crave, not Pop Crave, and people were retweeting it because the confirmation bias was so strong they wanted to believe it, but it was like the police officer had no idea who he was. He also had all these other drugs in the system and all this type of shit. And I'm like, you guys hate this guy so much. You don't look at Pooh Crave and go, maybe double check this source. Maybe I Google a little something.
What's this name? Don't sound right.
Yeah. So
when I saw Justin Timberlake, I think there is a little bit of a Gary Owen phenomenon around him, which is like when I read the internet, as you'd say, Black Twitter, I can't stand the man. When I saw him perform at Dave Chappelle's birthday thing at MSG, it was a mass of Black people loving Justin Timberlake. They might not have been like 22 years old. They might have been, you know, 30s, 40s, 50s, but universal enjoyment.
Didn't he perform? I mean, he did perform at a Super Bowl. Like, there's a reason he got there.
Right.
My theory has always been that Justin Timberlake was a guy that a lot of Black women and Black girls had a crush on and thought he was like the cool one with the hair, and then he started making, like, he goes solo, gets with Timbaland and Pharrell, makes two classic albums that Black people
banging albums that I still rock to today,
and gets co-signed by, like, you know, Jay-Z, Busta Rhymes, Janet
Jackson.
I
refer to those two albums as master classes in sharecropping.
Yeah. Yes.
Absolutely. He was getting all the accolades and the work was all being done, but not that they didn't get paid, obviously, but it was like this is more Timbaland featuring Justin Timberlake than Justin Timberlake featuring Timbaland.
Yes. I don't know that anyone's ever appropriated better than Justin Timberlake. You know, like he was at the top of the game. And then, of course, after the Janet Jackson Super Bowl thing, which I still contend, she knew her titty was coming out. I'll just die on that grave. And
I think she did too.
The difference between me and most people is I don't care if she wanted us to see her titties because I wanted to see them titties. So you can't make me feel bad. And I appreciate her sacrifice. But Les Moonves decided to destroy their careers.
Right.
Very ironic considering if you go Google Les Moonves and the Me Too movement, look at what this dude was up to all that time. But Les Moonves takes it personal. He's going to end their careers. And I think Justin Timberlake's big sin, which is very understandable to me, was he was like, I'm not ending my career for Janet Jackson, and I'm going to go ahead and apologize and try to just go back to whiteness.
Because he was young, and a lot of other people would have did if they were in this.
It wouldn't even matter what his age was. Les Moonves tried to destroy both of them. He would have tried to destroy him for sure, too, because he tried to destroy Janet Jackson.
Right.
So I just think his big sin was that he wasn't really down in a way that was like, I'll sacrifice my career as well. And they'll be telling the story of Justin Timberlake 20 years from now, like, you know, they did him wrong, man, but he was a good dude. You know, I hate that. What happened to his career? He's like JC Chavez, was like, what happened to his career? Nah, he's like, I'm going to try to still be somebody. I think that's what fucked it up. But I believe that the titty was coming out, and I think either he was in on it or he knew it was a possibility, but I think he just sold her out, and that's why he's paying for it. But yeah, this story went super viral, man. You know, so couldn't beat his feet to that. Last white people news story. These are always so fun. Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez kiss on the cheek as they attend his son Samuel's basketball game. Now it's just a kiss on the cheek. It's a little less flowery.
Son, they don't have kids together, right? Like, is this
no?
Yeah.
So one of his sons from his other marriages,
to the other Jennifer,
12-year-old Samuel, they went to his basketball game. They shared a kiss on the cheek as they greeted each other before heading inside the YMCA. Let's see. With Affleck's mother, Chris Ann Bolt, Lopez, 54, wore a black long sleeve top and blue jeans for the outing. Affleck, 51, sported a pair of blue jeans, which he paired with a maroon t-shirt under a red corduroy shearling jacket. The actor's wedding ring could be seen on his finger during the outing as he carried a basketball.
I love the descriptions of these stories where it's just like
ain't they the best?
The photo just says what you need, but they just write out like what the photo shows.
It's so good. It's so good. I love when they have to go to the thesaurus and be like, her golden tresses were, you know, like,
I was like, who says that anymore?
Yeah, so what I think is funny is like everyone clearly wants them to be miserable and break up. And I don't know what's happening there because obviously something's happening, but he just did a podcast with Kevin Hart where he talked about Jennifer Lopez and how famous she is and how ridiculous it is for someone to be that famous. But he also refers to her as his wife the whole interview. Now maybe it's an older interview or something, but I don't know. I don't know that they're getting divorced and headed for the rocks like everyone wants them to be.
Right.
But also he just has resting bitch face.
He does. He looks always angry and always grumpy no matter what.
Every picture they take is like were they arguing?
It's like, no, he always looks like that. No matter what the event is, no matter he's coming home. Yeah. You know, he be at a award show, they show his face. He shows that he has that same face.
Yeah.
I feel like Ben Affleck just stole the spot I was supposed to have. Like I'm miserable. I'm tall. I'm from the Bronx, not Boston, and my initials are the same as J-Lo's, and we both have to cancel shows because people don't buy tickets. Like I feel like that's a soulmate.
I do feel like
I would put up with, like, I might have that same sourpuss face. Like she might become like an even bigger version of comedy for me, where it's like, no matter what's going well, it's always bad. And I would be like, I would endure a lot to be with J-Lo.
I feel like also any candid picture we got of you talking to J-Lo would look like y'all were arguing.
All the time, yes.
And it'd be even worse because you're so tall.
You'd be looking down on her. They'd be like, he is talking to her
like
crazy.
She might could use this because then we'd be like, is she okay? Instead of being like, yeah, because right now we're like, what a bitch, man. She probably gets on his nerves.
They'd be like, blink twice if you need help.
If Ben Affleck was 6'7", we'd be like, yo, where's security?
And I have more of like an angry, I'm pissed off. He has like, I'm tired, pissed off. Whereas people would be like, why is J-Lo's man always mad?
Right. He's always towering over her, upset, leaning down. Like, I lied. One more. Shania Twain insists her ex-husband, Matt Lang, deserves empathy despite cheating with her best friend. Damn. Now she's this is what John Mulaney's, he needs his ex-wife to do. You know, come out and tell the public.
But Shania Twain is from a position of strength and fame, I think. And the husband producer he was a huge producer. So like they're both equals kind of, but no, cheating with your best friend, like, yeah, forgiveness, like in the spiritual sense, I would say. Right. I'm all for that, but not in a social sense. That's gross, man.
I will always remember.
She says she forgives her ex-husband, Robert John Mutt Lang, even though he cheated on her with her former best friend, Marie Ann Thibault. Now, if I'm Marie Ann, I'm like, can I get some of that? You know what I mean? Let me get some of that forgiveness, girl.
I like how it was like her ex-husband and her former best friend. So the forgiveness has not extended.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
We need to speak up and be like, hey, forgiveness is in the family of letting go, but forgiveness, more specifically for me anyway, is not about forgetting necessarily. She said on Tuesday's episode of The Great Company with Jamie Lang podcast, it's about understanding the other person, and that might mean that they're wrong. She added, while Twain suggested she will always view Lang's infidelity as wrong, she insisted she can totally forgive him because she knows the music producer, who's 75, was going through hardships at the time. I understand that he wasn't well, that you don't act certain ways unless there's something wrong with you. I feel bad that he had those problems. So she said holding on to resentment is very hard for her. He's a human being that deserves empathy and understanding. I think we all do. Now, how old is she, I wonder? Because this feels like,
I want to say she's like 60.
Okay. Because this feels like one of those moves too. Oh, she's 58. So he's 75, she's 58. I feel like she's also going, yeah, okay. Like, I'm Shania Twain. Ow. I think I'll
tell you what this guy did though, without knowing the specifics of when they cheated. I think he produced her big, huge albums. She was like this 29-year-old hot superstar. He got like, it would be like if Travis Kelce dated Taylor Swift and married her, but only from like the Eras tour to the next tour, and then cheated with her best friend. It's almost like he got the peak, and I feel like that's a little shadier.
That's from the man's perspective. Right. But I'm saying from her perspective, it's got to be a relief, because it's like, oh, no more 75-year-old man balls around me or whatever the fuck. Motherfucker was cheating anyway. I don't look like the bad guy at all. My image is perfect. I can move on to someone younger, more virile or whatever. No one's going to blame me. You know, she could pull a Kate Beckinsale, is that her name? When she started fucking like Pete Davidson and shit. Like she could do that and none of us would be like off her side. So I feel like it's a great, and then like these marriages don't last forever with these rich motherfuckers, and especially the power difference of like producer dating artists. Like I bet these women be like, thank God he finally fucking cheated. I can stop pretending that that I care about this old ass man who I was gonna have to watch die over the next 15 years.
I still got 15 good years in this pussy.
It's just I know what we're saying about primes, but she's still Shania Twain.
Right. Oh no, I'm right. Yeah, I agree.
Yes,
I was putting myself
like this is what this is. This is like a team coming to like this is like if the Hornets came to LaMelo Ball and was like, we're actually not gonna extend. Yeah, it's like so I hate that so sad that we can't continue
this out.
Anyway, Lakers, what's going on? What's happening with LA right now? Knicks, I like to play there. Like she's a free agent now at a great time for her. You know. All right. let's get into the final. Well, I guess second and final. Let's get to some guest arrays. All right.
Okay.
J-L's been very nice and kind to come hang out with us. But it's time to get into some racism because we all know that that's what this show's really about.
It's time to guess the race. It's time to guess the race. It's time to guess the race. It's time to guess the race.
All right, guess the race time is the time we go around, guess 5 different articles from all over the globe, and we guess the race of the people involved. And then we have J-L and Karen can compete against each other in their races, and the chat room plays along as well. A woman in jail is accused of assaulting someone at a Lubbock fast food restaurant.
Okay.
Lubbock, Texas, Melody Casillas, 41, was taken to jail Wednesday and accused of assaulting someone with a deadly weapon at a fast food restaurant. The police department was called to the restaurant due to a disturbance at the location. The victim told police Casillas struck her in the chin with a baseball bat while in the parking lot of the restaurant.
Ooh.
Right.
Batters up for real.
Yeah. I mean, maybe you want some battered wings. You want like battery, you know what I mean? Police report said Police report said the victim did not know Casillas and was not sure why she was hit. Damn. That's the worst. You
minding your business.
Hitting with a bat by a stranger feels even worse than if like you had beef and a motherfucker got you with the bat. Witnesses say they saw Casillas push and strike the victim in the face. The witness also said Casillas continued to swing the bat multiple times at the victim after the push, but did not strike her. LPD was able to locate Casillas near a school where she was arrested. She's charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Guess the race, Karen?
I'm going white.
All right, Karen's going white. What about you, JL?
And we're guessing Melody.
Her name is Melody Casillas.
That plus I'm going Latina.
All right, let's check the chat room and see what they believe. Taking them a second. I know we got a little delay sometimes. Dominican says Mary. She's sticking with JL's original. They used to call her Crazy Joe. Now they call her Batman. Me, no black, Dominican, Senorita, my big fat Greek batter, white. All right, so we got whites, and then we got like some versions of Latinx, Dominican, whatnot. Waffle House Negro League. So now we got a black one finally. All right, the correct answer is she looks Latinx to me. So Karen, you missed it. JL and the rest of y'all, you got it right. That's her.
That was a very white crime.
That's her. She got the neck tat, like she got a face tat. So you know, she's
Frenchie looks terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I could say she was foul for that.
Oh, that was a good
one. Yeah, I've been watching baseball, y'all. I know some words.
That was good. All right, let's go to the next one. How about Iowa hospital executive stole hot dog cart vendor's identity and used it for 3 decades while obtaining $200,000 in loans.
3 decades!
With the victim being labeled crazy and thrown into a mental hospital when he complained.
Yeah. No. Oh, so the real person was like, that's not me. I got all my shit. They was like, we don't know who you are. The real
From
you
the mind
is
of George Neal comes hot dog vendor us.
Right. Damn. Do we need to do a DNA test? The fuck is this?
Yeah. An Iowa hospital executive stole a hot dog cart vendor's identity in 1988.
Wow.
He racked up $200,000 in loan. He married and had a child using the stolen name. And the victim was locked up in a mental hospital trying to claim his identity back.
Imagine you trying to find out the person that you married is not that person, and you don't had a whole so you don't even know your mate.
This is like the plot to Old Boy or some shit where he's like, well, like this motherfucker, like you get out of jail, you got to go kill this motherfucker. like that's you know what, I'm dedicating my life to making sure that everything you built while I was in fucking the mental hospital is being burnt to the ground. So Matthew David Kieran's 58 is now facing up to 32 years in prison after he was convicted of one count of false statement to a National Credit Union Administration insured institution and one count of aggravated identity theft. He stole the identity of William Woods, 55, in 1988 when the pair worked together on a hot dog stand in Albuquerque, New Mexico. What kind of Better Call Saul ass? What?
Mr. White, let me cook the hot dogs, yo. Jesse, you can't work the hot dog cart. Why not? I'll just steal your identity, yo.
What the fuck, man?
Wow.
Oh my God. That feels like,
I've been on the train through Albuquerque though. It's like a long stop on one of my trains through so you get like 2 hours in Albuquerque. Albuquerque scares the shit out of me.
Really?
It's like, no wonder like Breaking Bad took, because it's like the whole downtown area feels like dead. I mean, dead. Like, why don't they just turn this into like a film set or something? Because there's there's like nothing and no one.
Man, well, they said they discovered the fraud 30 years later, and the Woods discovered the fraud and tried to reclaim his identity. But the dude that started living under his name, took out loans, got married, and started a successful career in IT. Now, what does it say? The other part that has to suck for the hot dog guys, like this motherfucker took your identity and lived a better life. Like this motherfucker was in like IT. You was working hot dogs with he took your same credentials and was like, it's like playing a video game. It's like
Trading Places, but a horror movie.
Rick and Morty, they had that game. It's like Roy or whatever.
Yes, Roy.
And you like play someone's actual life, and then like you can like die of cancer or whatever. It's like, you beat cancer with Roy. Hey, you did a good job, man. This is what that feels like to me. Is like this motherfucker played a version of your life video game. And it's like, well, where'd you end up? I ended up in a mental institution for 30 years because someone stole my identity. Where'd you end up? I work IT as an executive at a hospital, and I also got married.
A wife. I have a baby,
2 kids. I'm doing pretty good for myself. Should be able to retire in a couple of years, get a little early, maybe go tour around the world. What about you?
So that means his Social Security, everything. He just what? Not that funny. What happened to your family? Like, did the wife? I ain't meet your mama, your brothers, nobody. I mean, because if I meet anybody that actually because you had a whole ass family before you stole this man's identity.
Oh, we don't know how much of his family he had. We don't know what he was living like before this. It was only when Woods contacted the university where Kieran was working as an IT executive on $140,000 salary that police investigated and did a DNA test on the two men, revealing the truth. Oh, he had to know the jig was up when they put out the DNA kit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, it's like, we gonna need to cotton swab your mouth. He's like, fuck. What are you gonna say, Jay? I'm sorry.
No, I was just, what's the other person's name? There's Woods.
So the guy who got his identity stolen is William Woods. The guy who stole it is Matthew David Kieran's, and we're guessing Kieran's identity. Okay. It was so then Kieran's then admitted that to the decades-long fraud, telling investigators, "My life is over, everything is gone." He remains in custody of the U.S. Marshals awaiting sentencing. He was born in January 1966 and was adopted along with his brother and raised in San Francisco, California. His adoptive parents died in 1986 and 2000. When he was 16, he ran away from his adoptive family's home and stole a car, driving to Oregon, where he was arrested but never appeared in court. He went to Albuquerque, started working on a hot dog stand where he met his victim, the real William Woods. He stole his identity and name and used it in every aspect of his life for the next 3 decades.
Woo!
He got a fake Colorado ID under Woods' name and birthday and used it to get a job in a fast food restaurant and at a bank. He then bought a car for $600 in 1991 also using Woods' name, and two $300 checks that bounced. He drove to Idaho where he stole where the stolen car broke down and abandoned it, withdrawing all his money from the Colorado account and leaving the state. Then in 1994, he got married, had a child. He gave the child the surname Woods. He then moved to Wisconsin, obtained a copy of Woods' birth certificate using information about his family found on Ancestry.com.
Oh, no!
In 2013, he got a job as a systems architect in the University of Iowa's hospital IT department. He worked there for 10 years, earned more than $700,000 in total, and by 2023, his salary was $140,000 a year. He took on multiple vehicles and personal loans.
In Iowa too.
Yeah.
You're balling in Iowa with 140.
Right.
I mean, you're doing well anywhere, but Iowa, that's jeez. This is like the next season of Fargo. This could be like the next season, like this whole story.
Agree. In 2019, Woods went to a branch of National Bank and said he had discovered someone was using his bank accounts and had accumulated debt, and asked to close his accounts. He gave the bank his ID and social security number, which matched the information the bank had, but he couldn't answer security questions that Kieran's had set up. So the real guy was like, yo, y'all got to close my accounts. They're like, what street were you born on? He's like, what the fuck? Such and such street. And they're like, that's wrong. The bank called the number they had on file for him, which was Kieran's number. Kieran answered the security questions, told the bank employees that no one in California had permission to access his accounts. The bank employee called the LAPD, who questioned Woods and Kieran. The real Woods got arrested, charged with identity theft and false impersonation.
What?
When he continued to insist that he was the real Woods, a judge ruled in February 2020 he was not mentally competent to stand trial. He was sent to a mental hospital in California where he was medicated and confined.
I would sue the fucking state.
In March 2021, Woods pleaded no contest to the identity theft charges, meaning he accepted the conviction but did not admit guilt. He was sentenced to 2 years in jail. He was given credit for the 2 years he'd already spent in county jail and the hospital, and was released under orders to stop using the name William Woods. He did not stop. Continued to regain his identity.
He was like, that's me. The fuck I'm gonna change my name for?
He found out where Kieran was working in January 2023, contacted the hospital's security department. The hospital referred his complaint to the University of Iowa Police Department, where the detective Iron Mallory opened an investigation.
Shout out to Iron Mallory, who took that shit serious. They were like, you know what? Let's check this out.
Yeah, and they said this is like movie. This is like a movie or TV show set. But the detective asked Kieran's what his father's name was, and Kieran's accidentally gave him the name of his own adoptive father. Yeah, that's like that's like a TV script. That's like a script or something that you wouldn't believe happened in real life. You'd be like, oh, they wrote that in because they had to catch him. But nah, he really was like Harry or whatever, and they're like, Harry is your dad's name?
Like, say something. Now you see now, you done fucked up. I think what I'm saying. I thought that's what you're saying. That you done fucked up. No, you know that now. Yeah, no, you done fucked up.
Yeah, you done fucked up. So then he confessed after they took the DNA evidence. He pleaded guilty to false use of birth certificate and the other charge was dropped. He was indicted in federal court on December 12th on 5 counts of false statement to a national credit union. Pled guilty of 1 count of each charge, and sentencing hasn't been scheduled yet.
And I wonder, the real person, can you go back and be like, take this shit off my fucking record? Like, this.
I imagine you have to.
This
do
should
something.
not be on here because I come to find out none of this is true.
It's gonna be crazy.
And I would sue the state. Like, you fucking throw me in jail.
Guess the race of the identity thief.
Oh, all this is white.
All right, Karen says
30
white.
years.
All right, JL.
I was gonna say black until I heard all the white states. He was, he went from Iowa to Idaho to, and I was like, oh, white. Like
all them square states and flower states.
All right, let's check the chat room, see what they believe the race is here. No consequence, though. That's a white man. White. Jason 2, dark matter, white. Are you sure he didn't work as Sterling Cooper Price before the IT job? White. That's a good one. That's a good call. Talented Mr. Ripley, head ass white, ruthlessly white. This is white on unquestioning white crime. As white as the lies he told. Talented Mr. Ripley White. The correct answer is white. You all got it. That's him. Now I don't have a picture of the dude whose identity he stole, but I wouldn't be shocked. I feel like it has to be a white dude, but it felt like what would happen to a black dude.
Yes.
Like that's why, the Jordan Peele thing almost would be a perfect, if the guy's black, this is almost like a perfect Jordan Peele script,
Yeah, because he could, and he looks not to, the guy's a criminal, but I can't call him racist, but he does have the look of like, I'm also an oath keeper or a 3%er. So he could just be like, I know what I'll do. Nobody will believe this black guy. I'll just take his identity.
They said they didn't hear the claps.
Oh, really? Well, I mean, y'all felt them. You felt them in your spirit, guys.
You felt them in your heart.
Be back in 10 seconds.
Okay, yeah. I'll do that thing where I turn on the surround sound. And see, can y'all hear the claps now?
Yeah, did y'all hear that?
Because heard that. The thing is, if I turn it on, we have a guest. I think sometimes
I have to check on my dogs, literally.
Oh, no problem, man. We're almost done. We got to go to the bonus round. So I think so far JL's 2 for 2. Karen is 1 and 1, but everything, of course, in the bonus round is triple the points and triple the racism.
Triple the points. Triple the points. Triple the points. Triple the points. Triple the raise. Triple the points. Triple the points. Triple the points.
Triple the points, triple the race. Triple the race. Triple the race.
Triple the points, triple the race. Let's see. I don't think y'all can hear this if I play it on the screen. This news article. Give me 1 second to open up a different screen. But this one is about a couple who said strangers moved into their home that they had just bought and refused to leave.
What?
Yeah, some squatting was happening. That sucks. At least 2 men were in the home. When they just moved in.
Story, can't even imagine. Thank you for being here with us at 11 o'clock.
Now, I have to ask the chat, just make sure, can they hear it? Yeah. Matter of fact, I'll put on that little button for now so y'all can, just to make sure y'all can. Well, hopefully y'all don't get an echo from this, but here we go. I'll go back to playing the article.
I'm Lorenzo Hall. Tonight, that couple has a lot of questions. Naturally, who's in their new home? Why are they inside, and what can be done to get them out? Our Casey Nolan spent the night trying to get some answers. He leads us off tonight with the story you're seeing first on WUSA 9.
Zoe, the couple had just signed a contract with a bank to buy this foreclosed vacant house. Yesterday, the wife says she drove by to take a look at their new home, saw a U-Haul in the driveway with people moving in. Tonight, they're still there and refusing to leave.
She panicked a little and called me and said, what is happening here?
Malia King is the realtor for the couple who just signed a contract to buy this Prince George's County home. Fearing for their own safety, they asked Malia to speak on their behalf about the people they say are blocking them from moving into their new home. What is happening there as best you can tell?
It seems as though someone has tried to take possession of the property.
This someone, and at least one other man we saw at this home on Drago Place in Clinton Friday, where they posted signs telling people to stay away one day after the realtor says they first showed up.
The signs say private property and beware of dog.
I have an agreed, signed, ratified contract with the bank.
Malia showed us the couple's contract with U.S. Bank to purchase what she says was a previously vacant, foreclosed home. When the new owners confronted the people moving in, she says they showed them what they said was a lease for the property. The couple called the cops.
Once the police was on site, they took a look at the lease and it was not accurate. It was not correct documents.
Wasn't a legit lease?
Not at all.
I'm with Channel 9. Can I talk to you for a second?
When we tried to talk to the men inside the home, they said a man named Quinn had a lease for the house. They said he was an uncle, but they did not know his last name.
You guys staying here? Or are you planning to stay?
You know, you routinely have an uncle and you don't know his last name.
Y'all think y'all just gonna take this house?
Why you asking this?
What do you do now?
This is why I call you guys to kind of help, solve the situation, because right now my clients are highly upset.
Right!
And we just don't know what to do at this point.
We talked to the Prince George's County Police. They confirm an officer did go to the house yesterday, but at this point they say it looks more like a civil matter for the sheriff, like an eviction of any kind. But that is not good enough for this couple. They want answers from the bank about how the people were able to get into this home in the first place. We're going to stay on top of this for them, try to get them those answers. In the meantime, though, they're worried about what might happen to the home they just agreed to buy.
Yeah, this is not what you want when you get a new home.
Not at all.
This is wild, first of all. So is it possible that the people who are living there, maybe they got a fake lease and they moved in innocently?
So that was my first question.
Yeah.
The realtor says it's possible, but unlikely. She says the lease that they showed the couple and the police looks like they just printed it out online, didn't even have telephone numbers on it. When I talked to them, they did not try to make a case that they're the victims here.
Wow. All right, there we go, guys. Guess the race of the squatters.
Oh, black.
All right, JL.
I'm going black.
All right, let's check the chat room, see what they believe. Man, that's wild. And how did they figure out the timing to move in right before the other people were gonna move in?
Yeah, and I would be very, very upset. And it's one of those things where everything is gone through. So now as a homeowner, do I back out of this fucking plan? Because I was like, I can't move into the house.
Can you back out?
Right. So now I'm stuck. Like, something has got to happen. Like, the fuck is this?
Oh, this is black shit, lieutenant scamming ass niggas. Man, we just trying to film a music video real quick. Black, gotta burn the house down. Black. Who gonna check me, boo? Blacks. Cousin Pete, open the door. Black. Yeah, who knows what they're doing in the house? They can be filming OnlyFans, like, because you know they're not gonna respect it. It's not their house. They're not paying for it. Debo, that's my house now. Black. The correct answer is black. And one person said Latinx. And I would show y'all their picture, but it's like, it's in the video and it's like their faces are blurred out, but you can tell they black.
And I know it has to be even more frustrating. You call the police, they're like, now you get to call the sheriff department. The fuck, why?
Right, it's a civil matter, so what, we gonna go to civil court? How long is that gonna take?
Right.
Kick them the fuck out of my house.
Right, I got the correct documentation. What is this?
Right, I bet you if I stole a hot dog vendor's name, you'd put him in jail for me, no problem. Officer. All right, last thing, sword ratchetness. Man facing charges at the Mechanicsville sword fight. A man is facing charges after fighting someone with a sword in Schuylkill County last Saturday around 1:30 a.m. That's a crazy time to be fighting somebody with a sword. And also, fighting someone with a sword makes it sound like I had a sword and you had a sword. You just attacked me with a sword, dude. When they arrived on the scene, the victim, Charles Bever, said an unknown man assaulted him with a sword. The police found the suspect, Robert Beach. He was intoxicated. He is facing several charges, including aggravated assault.
He's intoxicated.
Yeah, I don't like the reporting on this. Just say I was assaulted with a sword. Don't say it was a sword fight, motherfucker. It's like calling it a gun fight if you come up and shoot me. Like,
that's not a gun fight.
I got shot.
Yes, you did.
Stop making me complicit in your fucking headline, dick. JL, man, tell everybody where to find you and how to get tickets to your upcoming shows, man.
Thank you for having me. Go to jlcomedy.com. Everything is there. Links to the two podcasts. For every show. And this Friday and Saturday. The DC Comedy Loft. Get those tickets.
All right, man. I love when you come on, dude, because like we always find something out or get some joke or something that just I haven't heard before, or hasn't happened before. And I'm sure there were multiple ones today, but my favorite one has got to be I didn't know you could do a Charlie Day impression. And that cracked me up, man. And just as an endorsement for the podcast as well, because I'm a big fan of Rain on Your Parade. And, you know, I text JL sometimes throughout the week when I'm listening and love to be like, oh, man, this thing or that thing. And it's not just JL giving his opinion on stuff, which is funny enough as it is. And Mike is cool too, being there, balancing everything. That's cool. But it's also very creative. Stuff like the episode where it's Republican Jesus, where he does a whole episode of Republican Jesus. A whole episode is Cornel West. A whole episode as Scaramucci on reading and stuff like that. Like it's very funny, but it's also creative and it's unique. It's different. It's a different approach to some of the topics that people talk about every day. And I think that's so important. We had a listener write in to ask us about advice on podcasting and stuff. And this is one of the things advice I would give people is try to come at it in a different way. Whatever your skill set is, apply that. Cause you know, I've laughed so hard at just some of these like 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 minute impressions of like, you know, here's this Italian bro who's now hosting the show for this week. And it's just like so good. So, you know, definitely wanted to tell you that before you left.
I like the Cornel West. I want to do a video versus Michael Tyson.
Yes.
You know, they're different.
That's tough. That's tough.
Well, because like the thing Michael is that it's of your almost acting to yourself because realize that we have and things that are right now in the market we have to address going after time is not going to correct the issues. Cornel West. We have to understand blackmails, who's attacking his Canadianness. Yeah, you know, we are all brothers in the North American diaspora, and we have to realize that when you attack north of the border, you're going south of the ethical line that I would draw in terms of the African American community that we have to form. Yes, but in the community, Brother Dyson, we have to remember that some people don't deserve to be full members of the community.
Yeah, listen, my dear, my dear brothers, my Bambi the deer, dear John,
though a deer, a female deer.
But yeah, make sure y'all, man, go support, go listen, man. It cracks me up every
it's
week.
worth every dollar.
I always look forward to the hot topics and whatnot. I know the last one I think was about WNBA or maybe the one before. And that's like a very timely, apropos.
Yeah, the one that's currently up is the case for Joe Biden, which is like a more direct, like, you know, get involved. Like it's sort of a podcast to the progressives who won't vote for Joe Biden because I have written on MAGA. I'm not trying to have a discuss like you're beyond reaching. It's a joke. It's like you live in a different world.
Mm-hmm. Nah, I love that episode, and I love what you've been doing on Twitter like a week or two ago too, as well. Like, I think it's high time for people to make the case for Biden, and I'm tired of people dismissing it with the like, I know. No, it's not that simple because this is the kind of shit you're gonna look back on if Trump comes into office again. You're going to look back at this I know shit, and it's going to all be revelatory the same way it was.
He's going to be the next suburban white woman group. Like, in other words, oh, he's not really going to take away our abortion. Oh, he did. And I look, some young, like Mike, my producer on the show, a person he works with closely is a young lesbian woman, very progressive, very righteous, and you know, you want to say to them, talk to some gay men and women in their 50s and 60s. Right. Get their perspective before you write Biden off because he's coming for you next. Like,
Right.
and I don't mean that in a hyperbolic, scary. Clarence Thomas and Sam Alito have already told you they're coming for your marriage equality.
Yep.
They're going to come for other things. They're going to let more places discriminate against you. So before you decide, I get it, on tough issues, on issues you feel passionately about, you have to realize that this is, I mean, it takes some courage. It takes some toughness to take a partial victory. Yeah. Especially when you feel strongly about the other things. But the other option is loss.
Yes. There's a liberal belief that they don't, as pessimistic as they claim to be, there's a liberal belief in the progress being made as the floor. And they don't even understand how naive they sound to those of us who are like a bit older, have watched loss, who just saw how much loss we've experienced. Even the loss that we've experienced in the Biden administration is Trump administration stuff. Some of that going back even further to like Reagan era shit, where it's like they've been trying to get this since 1960 something for some folks, and they just now getting it. And so like for us, we can see a long game because you have to play a long game because they're playing a long game, and there's no tantrums, there's no fits, there's no emotional like I'm making Joe Biden pay by making him.
Joe Biden will retire and be like, thank God I'm done with this shit. I can look after my son and cuddle with my wife and write a book and enjoy like my last years. This idea of him, Joe Biden will feel bad because he cares about the country. That's why
that's the only reason why he ran. I don't think people understand. He only ran because he was like, fuck Donald Trump.
He is I say this all the time, but he is Steve Rogers at the end of Endgame. Like where it's just like, bro, I would like to go home. Like if y'all would just chill the fuck out, I'd go home. Like I want to live a happy life that's just away from this bullshit. And we fucked it off and then went, mommy, who's gonna pick up the Cheerios I spilled? And he's like, fuck, let me go get the broom and get the Cheerios. I'm like, you're not cleaning up right. You're not doing it fast enough. You're not using the brain thing with the 3 dots the right way. Like we're just complaining our way back to Trump, and it's just
and that's going to be a bit I try. That was that bit about, I'm going to add the 3 dot, the Neuralink into my bit about internet for old people.
I love that.
I just think so. People should check out the most recent Round Your Parade. And we're talking Christian nationalism later this week on the new episode. But I hate to say, I feel very tired with the sort of, it's that bit of mine from Tall Boy where it's like, and I said in the blog, the progressives will scream at Joe Biden, do everything before they even whisper at a Republican, do something.
Right.
Like there's this, and I said this on Karen Hunter. She let me cook on Thursday for like uninterrupted, basically. It was like a speech. But I said, we live in this world where Republicans get to walk around and we've almost given up on them doing anything. Right. And we then blame Democrats. Like we somehow like there isn't this party that's the problem. And I said in the blog that I wrote, and I've said on the podcast, the more Democrats you elect, the more progress you get. It's that simple an equation. There aren't Democrats. There's a Joe Manchin here and there, of course. Right. But if you found a way to get 60 senators in the Senate, or even 55, you know what? They're getting rid of the filibuster. They're giving you the George Floyd Policing Act. They're giving you massive voter rights acts. And you know what? Maybe that hurts centrists in the future, but they're not afraid to give it to you because one party is pro the system, pro democracy, pro people to varying degrees. The other party is fuck the people, fuck Democrats, fuck progress, fuck doing anything, with the exception, of course, of my girl Lauren Boebert, who I hope you'll support in her primary on Tuesday. But other than that, awful.
Did you see her opponent did an ad in the seat that she was at?
Wow, I did not.
Oh shit! Hold on.
Oh, that's good. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
she was getting finger banged.
Yes. I saw that on Twitter. Like her political opponent was like, "Oh yeah, this seat right here, Y'all remember that, right? Like, goddamn. Let me just see if I can pull it up.
That's good.
Yeah.
Troll her ass.
Lauren Boebert opponent films ad campaign in Beetlejuice theater seat. It's on Yahoo.
I hope people don't turn this off once you said like wrapped it up. We've given them some bonus.
Nah,
bonus
they
content.
here. I still see people in here, but if not, they can watch the replay or hear the audio. This is one of those ones where they just do the music or whatever. Let me see if we can get to. So they're not gonna show the actual. Okay, no.
You might have to look for.
Yeah, I think it's here. There we go.
There it is.
I'm John Pedora. I'm sitting in the very same seat that Lauren Boebert got kicked out of. The same way she got kicked out of Colorado's 3rd congressional district. Now she's picked up her bags and fled to eastern Colorado to run in the 4th congressional district. That's a race I've been running since May of 2023. Boebert's an opportunistic carpetbagger, and we deserve real leadership here in Colorado's 4th. Please, if you can, chip in $5, $10 today to make sure that we have the resources we need to win this race.
He should
not a carpetbagger.
He should have had someone come in and try to kick him out.
That's white folks being sassy.
Wow.
But yeah, man.
That's hilarious.
Appreciate the stuff you've been saying, dude. And I just think it's so interesting too, because I almost texted you this, but I was like, isn't it funny that, or maybe I did text you. I was like, isn't it funny the amount of like reaction you're getting from these tweets? It like proves that the shadow ban is so real, because it's like you post something and it's like, oh, here's a funny thing that Donald Trump like thing. And it's like, yeah, womp womp. And then you're just like, actually, maybe like don't throw Joe Biden in the trash. And it's like a million people being like, hey man, fuck you, dude. First of all. Like,
and I'm trying to figure out the formula, because I posted that, then I posted like a second one, which was more about getting out the vote. Like, why won't they do everything? Why won't they do? And then my third tweet was like, Elon Musk, why haven't you done anything about my shadow ban? And I'm wondering, did I crack a code, which is like, okay, every third message in a link, I'll Elon, because that tweet went so viral, and I haven't had a tweet do that in 4 years.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But hopefully some people, I do like the people who jump in and go, shaming and yelling aren't going to do anything. And I was like, first of all, I'm not yelling, I'm writing.
Right.
And secondly, maybe you should be ashamed. It's like my joke from Tallboy, where I go, some shame in sex is good. It makes it a little spicy and fun. If there's no shame about anything, we won't do anything.
And the reason that that's bullshit, by the way, everyone who says that isn't voting, what is the tool you're using?
Yeah.
Like, what is the tool you're using that you claim the way you're going to move our government to the progressive left is by shaming Joe Biden, shaming Democrats, not voting at all, because, so does the shame work or does the shame not work? I think you just don't want to feel ashamed of people like us pointing out, like, what you're doing is fucked up, and you can't be on my side when I'm getting jumped and you're standing over to the side being like, I'm not helping to jump you. I'm like, motherfucker, you're not helping to fight back either.
Right.
And I think you've made this point before, but I think it's worth explicitly stating, because I didn't say it on that. But the progressives who are, we'll talk about their marginalized people that they are allies to. And then you're like, okay, but when they lose marriage next term, you're going to say, hey, Gaza, when black people continue to lose voting rights, are you going to say, hey man, Gaza, what did you want me to do? Protect your rights? Take some victories along the way, or stand up and do nothing and say, well, there you go. I did what was right.
That's the sad part, is you can fast forward. I actually still think Biden's going to win.
Black Lives Matter, but not their voting rights.
Right. Yes.
That's my progressive stance. I'm a true progressive.
Right. The sad part to me is you can fast forward to like November, and if somehow Trump wins, they absolutely will be like, and see, this is how the Democrats did this to us. They will take no responsibility ever. So I just can't have people like that.
Maybe if they'd run better candidates. They ran 10 candidates of every race, gender, age. He won. He won. You got your chance. And this is my thing on the podcast, where I say, everybody wants to be an independent now. Because like I'm above the process. I'm better than the process. I'm an independent. why can't I vote in the primary? And well, because you make a big thing of how you're not in the club. You're not in the you're not voting for a Republican. You just want to be better than a Democrat. So you don't get to choose when you don't join the group. It's a very simple process to join the group, and then you can impact it and influence it from the inside.
Right.
But they don't, that's where I get into that theoretical. It's like you'd rather just sort of go, I'm better than everybody involved in this process. And if I get involved, then I'm going to be frustrated and I have to work at it and I have to talk about what I want to change. Whereas if I just stand back and go, Democrats should stop giving us shitty candidates. Who are you? Is this your birthday party? We gift you a candidate every 4 years. You could be part of the process to choose it, but you want to be better than us.
Yes. And my favorite part too is the when eventually like Biden wins, if he wins, they will show up to be like, and it's we should get the credit for him winning. It's like
we pushed him to the left.
You did nothing. Right. You helped in no way. You know what I mean? Like you saw us pushing the car up the hill that the engine wasn't working. And then once we got to the top, you're like, I should get the credit for being
the engine started going and you tapped the trunk of the car. We're like, nice, we got it.
No, you waited till we pushed it like over the hill, right? Then you touched the car like, we got it over the hill. And honestly, that last inch, right? That's me. Y'all guys are welcome. All right, man. JL, thank you for being here.
Thank you,
always
JL.
so fun. Make sure y'all check out JL. We'll have everything in the show notes. And until next time, I love you.
I love you too.
Mwah. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Happy
Thank you,
Game of Thrones.
Thank you. This is fun.